Hangout online. Finally, we're on air. Okay, so everybody introduce themselves. So I'm just going to start. I'm Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading, and I have with me tonight. Who wants to go first?
I'm muting myself. Okay.
Hey guys, I am B with Books with B.
And
I'm Tatiana with Musical Tati.
And I'm Jordan with Left on Red.
okay, so this is our first Saturday night of Booktube Black Chat. And I get constantly people saying, oh, I don't, I can't find any Black booktubers. There aren't any. You seem to be the only one. I'm like, no, I'm not the only one. There's plenty of Black booktubers out there. So why don't you guys first tell me, like how you got on the idea of doing a booktube?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, you go. I actually started watching booktube videos. I want to say maybe 6 or 8 months before I actually started doing videos. I started watching, and it was a whole bunch of people who did not look like me that I saw. And then I found your channel, Dee Dee.
Oh, okay. All right.
And yeah, I found your channel, and from your channel, I want to say I found Denise, because you were sharing a haul and you had gotten some things from Denise.
Yeah.
And so I found Denise's channel from yours, and I was like, holy crap, it's chocolate people here who talk about books. And then I realized, I've always, been someone who reads differently from what her friends read. So when I was a kid, I was reading a whole bunch of romance novels, and then once I got into like the fantasy genre, all of my friends were like, bitch, what's that? And none of them were interested in trying it. So like me talking about books was me just telling them what happened in the book. It was never any like give and take of I like this or I didn't like this or I don't like this author that much, because they didn't know who I was talking about. So that's what made me decide to start doing a booktube channel, because I could at least share that information with other people who like to read, whether they were Black or not. And I just found other Black folk on YouTube when that happened, and I get like so many suggestions, and I like Dee Dee, you and I read completely differently, but I enjoy and have read some of the books that you read. It's time for you to reciprocate on that. Need to do some fantasy.
I'm gonna do it.
But
this is the year of one sci-fi and one fantasy. Okay.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. I'll try.
That's how I got into it.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll go next. So actually I was on YouTube, but I was on YouTube because I like to travel and lifestyle. And I was doing it, but you can only travel so much. And I'm like, I read so much, but I don't know anybody who reads. I'm going to just create a completely different channel so none of the people who follow me know what's going on, and start talking about books. And I'll just do it like with my husband. And then like, I forget Kay, she like started writing on my videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's another Black person. And then I found you, Dee Dee, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, wait, is there a community on here? So I got so excited. And pretty much I was like, this is a community. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I didn't even plan on really getting into BookTube. I didn't even know it was a thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's a small community,
Say that again, Dee Dee, you broke up.
Yeah. I said it's a really small one compared to some of the, the other ones that are really big. Like the beauty community is huge. The comedy is really huge. Fitness is really huge, but is like it's tiny compared to those other communities. So there's room for everybody, in BookTube, which is good. Okay, and B.
You guys, I don't even remember, but I just know that it came from maybe like right around the times when I joined Goodreads. And so that's probably how I came across like BookTube and even knowing that was a thing, because I always like watch YouTube for makeup and travel and different things like that or whatever. But just like in my personal circle, I'm like the little bookworm book nerd. And so it was a matter of finding recommendations and finding people to talk about books with and just be comfortable being like a little bookworm book nerd or whatever. And then it was the struggle of finding people that were over like 16, 18, because there's that whole like age thing where the majority are like YA readers that are younger people. And from that, it like spiraled out into, okay, like, where are my people at? And you know what I mean? And just like people that read the same things, or people that read diversely or other things other than you, but just finding people, like I watch all ages, but it was nice to find people that were like middle-aged people that weren't reading just strictly Harry Potter. So
kind of, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Rachel popped in for a hot second and then disappeared.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
We had got so excited.
Name pop up that she was joining, and then it went away. Rachel, come back.
That's true.
Say that again, Didi.
All right. I said the struggle.
Oh yeah. Let's see, I have a.
There she is.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, friends.
So we were introducing ourselves.
I was driving way too fast. To get home to be a part of this.
It doesn't count. It's fine.
We're like, where is she? Because you had tweeted something, and then it's like you disappeared. We were like, hello. You're here.
Yeah.
All right. So introduce yourself and tell everybody how you got started with BookTube.
Me, Rachel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think my channel is going to be almost a year old. It's coming up. There was a former singer who I followed on YouTube who started talking about books, and her name was
Marie.
Yes. And loved her channel. I was always watching all of her videos that she had about books, and I think that was like my first exposure to BookTube. And so she was pretty much all I knew. And then I started watching some of Katie Tastic's videos, because those started to be suggested to me after watching so many of Marie's videos, and the algorithm finally figured out she likes these types of videos. And then I just kept watching, and I set a goal for myself and said, okay, well, next year I'm going to start my own channel. And the cringy videos are there as proof of where I started from, and here we are now. And of course, I watched your videos.
Right, so that's good. So when you started doing BookTube, did you feel comfortable right away? Did you get weird comments, or do you get weird comments?
No, the BookTube community is so supportive. They really are. This is a community that's unlike any other space on YouTube. That is for sure. No, I was not very good at my videos, at least when I look back. Like I said, they're very cringeworthy. And I did it all with my iPhone. So now I'm just in a space where I've made the investment into this. I still view this as a hobby. So I made the investment into this hobby in buying an expensive camera. But it was just, me in my woman cave with my phone, and it's a whole year later, and it turned into quite something different.
Yeah. Anybody else got like weird comments and stuff on their videos, or?
I've gotten a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've gotten a few, but not to the near level that I've gotten like when I would like on my other lifestyle travel channel.
Yeah, I've gotten a few, but my tagline on my info section is like foolish and fuckery will not be tolerated. So they get deleted real quick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get a few. Yeah, I've gotten a few, or like some really shocking ones I've gotten on mine.
Wow. Like what?
People who like
you're gonna be on camera.
Man.
I can't remember exactly which video it was, but I remember somebody wrote something like, "Oh, I didn't know monks could read." Yeah.
See, yeah.
I was, that was the trash. And then I think I remember getting some other weird ones. One person wrote and said something like this, like, you should just admit to yourself that Black writers don't write as good as white writers.
I remember that comment. I remember that comment, and I was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
And then the person used to get mad and say that I was not being honest. And that I that I was just yelling for my people or something. And I was just like, you know what, get the fuck off, like, this is bullshit. Every now and then
I think I messaged you and I was like, stop talking to this stupid person.
Yeah. But it's, you kind of like, because I think it was like around the third year on Booktube that happened. I cannot remember what video it was, though. I wish I could remember the video or what book it was. But it was so freaking annoying, because you just think, you kind of get sucked in because you respond once or twice and you're like, no, like, stop it, because we could be here all night,
Yes.
Right.
Never gonna,
I do not respond to crazies. Like, that's I love engaging, and I will engage with you. Somebody says something where it's like off, where they're like, have you ever seen the light, or do you know one of those things? I'm like, there's no, it's not going to be a productive conversation because something's wrong. I may pray over the comment and be like, Lord, I hope everything's good with you and whatever the situation, but I'm not going to feed into that negative energy. Like, it's really disheartening. Like, somebody wrote one on my last video. I did this, that review of Infidel, and somebody wrote, I can't believe you would review this book so favorably. I'm not gonna watch your channel anymore because this woman just talks bad about Islam and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. So I just said, that's your prerogative, but this is a free space, free speech. I can say what I want, and you can say what you want. If you don't want to follow me anymore, that's your prerogative. Bye. Ciao. Yeah. I mean, what can you do? But you every now and then you get these kind of. I've gotten some really weird ones. Yeah. They don't happen very frequently, but yeah, when I get a few weird ones, it's like. Yeah, I had one that was pretty weird. I was talking about Friday Black, and in the conversation with my husband, we were also talking about the R. Kelly situation, and someone got in their feelings about that and was like, I don't know, just went on this whole long rant, and it was just ridiculous. I screenshotted it, but I guess because they finally realized that it was ridiculous, I'm like, I'm not going to delete this because maybe 10 years from now, if you go for something, someone could see how you really feel. But they ended up deleting it. I still got the screenshot, but I was like, you're crazy. I'm not going to engage in conversation with you. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's also one reason why a lot of people in Booktube are afraid to say things that could be perceived as controversial. So they kind of avoid that, so that they don't have to deal with, what can come out. And then, of course, you get your drama issue every.
We are controversy. We Black. We controversy. Period.
You get your drama over, reading diversely, cyclically every 6 months. Somebody will say something and it'll blow up, and everybody will then go on their tirade of doing all their videos about, diversity and, all this. But but I think in general, yeah, I would say the booktube community is very supportive. Yeah. So
it's not booktubers who leave the ridiculous comments. It's not booktubers.
No. Because I think because the community is so small, that nobody's got time for that. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody watches who they want to watch. Sometimes there's not a lot of overlapping. It's we're in these groups within the small group of booktube. Yeah, but I think in general, it's it's a pretty safe space to do a video. Even though I do get people that say on my, oh, I want to do videos like you, but I'm just too afraid. People are so these days or whatever, and they get really panicky about it. And I'm like, you should just give it a go, try it, see if you like it.
And if it becomes too much, you can stop.
Yeah, exactly. You're not signing your life over your firstborn or anything like that. I mean, stop if you want. But I think it's just the idea of just getting over the hump of saying, yes, I'm going to set up a camera video. This is hard. It's one, you're all nervous. You want to be thorough and not talk too long and not babble and not do this. So you get really nervous, and then there's all the technicalities, using the camera, uploading the video, how editing. I mean, I didn't even edit it. You talk about having your first videos, Rachel, being, wow, my first videos are terrible. It's just horrible to watch. I keep them up just.
I remember on.
But you're an OG though, Dee Dee. You're an OG. So you started.
Lord, Dee Dee's old videos have a lot of ums in them, and when I watch old videos, I think about the fact that I say so like 3,000 times in my video. Like as many times as Dee Dee said I say so.
Oh my God. So somebody wrote, how many times you said and I'm like, you know how old this video is?
No. I still say a lot, guys. I be saying
I edit my ums out.
Yeah.
I edit them out.
I do too, but I edit it all out. I edit it all out.
Like,
I ain't got to that level yet. My level is I be like, what you what am I trying to say? I be all that, but I don't know. I feel like my style, like I just can't pre-plan. Like I'm just one of those people.
No, I don't either. I can't.
I don't pre-plan.
I can't do that.
Oh.
Can't do that.
Yeah, I don't pre-plan. I just really learned real fast how to use Movie Maker. iMovie. Well, I mean, I didn't do anything, so I was like, how am I going to figure this out? So then I said, you stupid, go on YouTube and figure it out. So watching these YouTube videos with 14-year-olds showing you how to use freaking iMovie. I'm like, okay. I take it my notes and I think, wow, okay. So then, but I think that's the part that people don't realize, about, doing videos and stuff is that in the beginning, it's a little. Jerry, don't do that.
And you just have to get on with it and figure out what you're going to use, figure out how to use it, and just do it. Just do it,
And Jerry says she's going to go and watch everybody's old videos now.
Don't do it.
Please don't do that.
Don't do it.
My videos in the beginning were filmed with my laptop. So the camera is terrible. It's dark. It's not, it's horrible. And yeah, I say a lot. So not so good. But they're there. Go ahead and watch them. Got to do what you got to do.
Make it a drinking game.
Yes.
I need to get my tea on. I didn't make a tea, but I'll make one later. Since it's Black History Month, have you guys got any recommendations? Anything you want to recommend to the people that you love?
Y'all know who you are. Like,
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay. Look, I got him right beside me too, because I was like, I can't do picture in picture. The day I learned how to do picture in picture, it's broken. It's gonna happen all the time.
Octavia Butler.
Octavia, but okay. See, I had her second. I was gonna do.
I love that.
I had her second. Octavia Butler is like my literary shero.
I love it.
The love I have for her is strong and is deep. Like I told my mom, because my mom was like, when I bought Fledgling, I cried when I bought Fledgling, because I had waited to buy it because she was supposed to come to my city to do signing, and she passed away 2 months before she was supposed to come do that signing. So I had to go. I was gonna wait and buy Fledgling when she came to my city, and then that didn't happen. So when I bought it, the manager at the bookstore at that time, it was a Walden Books, she said, I saved a copy in the back for you because I knew you were waiting to get it. And I just lost it in the bookstore. But Octavia Butler is like my literary shero, all-time favorite. If you to start with her, I kind of would say start with Kindred, because I think that's an easy way.
That's what I read. I loved it.
So it's eerily accurate to like things that we are dealing with today, as well as the sequel to this. And then after Octavia Butler, Tanana Reeve.
Oh yeah,
I love her. This is her first book that she wrote. My favorite book of hers is Joplin's Ghost, which is about a lady named Phoenix, who deals with a haunting of the ghost of Scott Joplin. So she's more along the line of like horror. She's not along the line. She is horror. But I absolutely love her, and how like in depth her stories are. And you really have to think about what you're reading, because when you read it like 150 pages later, it's going to come back.
Okay.
So I love her.
I have a book called Black Rose that's written by her, and it's the autobiography of Madam C.J. Walker.
I haven't
read it yet, but I
haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, but you say she usually writes horror, though.
Yes, yeah, I think that book, and there's another book, because her mom was a civil rights activist, and there's another book that she has that I think is like conversations that she had with her mom. That she did too. So those two books are outside of her normal writing style. But
what is the one you had said in one of your, I think it was 3 or 4 videos ago? Is it called The Good House?
The Good House.
This is the one that she said I should read.
Yes. You want me to get that one? That's right in the library. I can go get that one too.
Yeah, because I remember you said, no, you can do that one, you'll like it, it's good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, The Good House is really good. And it is a book, it is a big book, but the audiobook is done by Robin Miles, and she does I've read it as an audiobook the second time, and I was not disappointed. She does such a good job with that book. She also is the audiobook narrator for Parable of the Sower.
She does a lot.
Robin Miles is like the Black unicorn for audiobooks by black authors.
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
And then my newest obsession is Alyssa Cole.
Alyssa Cole, who now lives in Paris. We figured out she might be living in Paris now.
Yes.
Alyssa Cole. Who knows? I might run into her.
That makes me think she's living in Paris. So
yeah, that's what it does. I mean, from what you see, so
yeah,
I'll look it out for her.
So, but yeah, Alyssa Cole can do no wrong. These two series are completely different. Which ones have you read, Jordan?
I've only read A Princess in Theory. You will not believe me, I read that last night. I stayed up reading it. That was a little too much for me. Then
wait a week to start A Duke by Default, because A Duke by Default is better than A Princess in Theory.
What? Okay. Yes. I had it next because I wanted to read it because Valentine's Day and all that other stuff. And I was like,
A Duke by Default is I mean, not to say it's so much better, but it is better. I love what she does with character growth with her characters and how she takes what would be taboo for a lot of Black folk and throws them in these novels and makes them palatable and receptive. It makes it easier to receive the information and the situations.
What kind of things?
Well, sadly, interracial relationships are still a taboo thing among a lot of people in the Black community. It's not uncommon, but you can, like, I have cousins who are in interracial relationships, and there's a side eye that you see when they, like, if we go into having a reunion and we go into our family church and my cousin walks in with her husband, and there's a side eye that like goes through the congregation, and me being me, I'm like, what the fuck, y'all got something to say? But that's still a thing. And with particularly in the Loyal League series, because these are set in the time in slavery and Civil War times.
Okay.
So it's the danger of the relationships as well, and having them be actual relationships, not like Cane River, where the relationship is forced upon the slave by the owner, and it's like this romanticization, is that the word, of the relationship by the slave.
Yeah. So for someone like me who's never read her, where should I start?
The Loyal League.
Really? Oh, really? I should have started there.
This is the first one. This is the first one that I read, and because of this, I read A Princess in Theory. And they're written completely differently.
So the Extraordinary Union, is that like a series, or is it what? What is that? Just one standalone?
Say that again.
Is the Extraordinary a standalone, or is it in series?
Oh shit! It's a series. I just got lipstick on my book. I'm gonna have to buy another one. It's a companion series, so you, like, all of these, both of these are companion series, so you don't have to read them in order, and you don't have to continue reading them to get the story, because it is a complete story.
Oh, okay. All right. The Extraordinary Union it is.
And didn't A Princess in Theory make you think of the Eddie Murphy? I can't believe
Coming to America.
That's what it made me think of.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
But kind of modern.
And because even what's the prince's name? Thabiso? It was amazing. Like, Coming to America came out in the 80s. So in my mind, I'm like, Hakeem can have some ignorance because he's never been to the US. Thabiso doesn't have that. He had never not been to the US before. Like, I was like, dude, really? But yeah, it was so good.
Well, all right, that's good. Your union it is. All right. What you got, Jordan?
Oh, I was so into the recommendations. I didn't forget any.
I was writing them down.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Friday Black, because that is one that I finished last month. And oh my gosh, it's by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenia. And it's a series of short stories. And he says he doesn't have a particular genre, but to me, it's like dystopian, kind of sci-fi-ish, kind of a lot of different stuff. And it's like these individual standalone short stories where he's just talking about regular stuff that's going on today. But again, like with dystopian, you amp it up maybe just a teeny bit, and it's just brilliant. I mean, he touches on, of course, race. He touches on there's a section of one story that's kind of like about abortions. He touches on the consumerism in the retail industry, and it's just such an easy read. And while reading this, I was like, I've never really read anything like this. There's parts that make you laugh like out loud, where you just can't stop laughing, and then there's some parts where it's like, ooh, this is a little tough and a little lot. But I highly recommend it. I say everyone should give this one a read. And yeah, that's pretty much my still.
Hey, Dee, since this is your channel, real quick intermission, I need you to go to my name on the chat. I'm going to type my name and make me hit the 3 dots and make me a moderator.
What? On my phone?
Oh shit! Can you get to it on YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, I can get YouTube on my phone.
Okay, you need to do it through YouTube.
So
And
what
make
do I
me
do?
and hit the three dots
Yeah,
beside my name and click
oh wait. Oh
click
Lord, here
make
we go.
moderator.
Let me see if I can make that work.
Okay.
Let me just do it on here. That might be easier. Let's see. I should have done it in the beginning
Yeah, but
when I
I
said
wasn't
it.
thinking.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about it, though.
And Denise, you gonna
Let
be
me
here
just.
for a while? Can you be a moderator too?
Well, we got some
Yeah.
crashers.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Denise is willing to be a moderator too.
Okay, well, let me just see how I'm gonna do this. Okay, keep talking.
Okay.
Who's Jordan? You have another
You had Jordan? You got another one?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I always talk about Jesmyn Ward, but I had actually never read.
I really love Jesmyn Ward.
I do love Jesmyn Ward a lot. I like have a
I
problem
know
with
you
it.
love.
But I never read Men We Reaped, and it's her memoir, and I was scared to read it, honestly, just because I knew it was about her like losing 5 men in her life that were close to her, and I don't know, I just didn't want to be in a sad place. So I put this off every so often. I'm like, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna read it. I never read it. I finally read it, y'all, and I don't know why I put it off. It wasn't depressing like that to me at all, and I felt like it was such a just accurate depiction in the sense of, I know her focus is mainly on telling accurate stories of growing up in Mississippi in the South and stuff. But for me, this resonated so much growing up. I didn't grow up in the rural South, but I grew up in Florida. And just a lot of the ways where Black lives are depicted when they kind of make it into this big show of, I don't know, like drug dealing, make it into this big production and stuff like that, where they don't really show an accurate depiction. I felt like she did the story of her people with dignity and with pride. And it was just such a good memoir. Like, it wasn't even a memoir because it talked about life in the South and all of the systemic issues from in the school system, from drug abuse, there were so many different angles. And she just does such a good job of painting a good picture. So I definitely say for Black History Month, especially if you're from the South, or if you just want like another angle, even if you're not from the South of America, Men We Reaped. Don't be intimidated. It's not depressing like that. It might get you in your feelings, but in a good way.
Okay.
I'm gonna like Men We Reaped better than Sing Unburied Sing.
And that's the one I have.
Girl, I'm sorry. You know most don't get along. You know that. You know that don't work for me. Ghost. I mean, if you're gonna put a ghost, you gotta make that shit really.
But you like the Supremes at Earl's.
Yeah, but that's different. That worked for me.
She said that's different.
Love, that worked for me. Okay. But for some reason, even when I saw her, I asked her, I said, why did you do a ghost instead of a flashback? When the ghost appears, it's because there's a particular family member that's in the room. She's relating the incident. And I think it's because it was suggested by her, her editor had suggested it. Because, he didn't suggest it like that. There's a reason why Richie can't have his opinion. And so she interpreted it as Richie be in the story as a ghost.
Okay.
But I also read some articles of hers, and she talks about like with her kind of like her background in Louisiana and a lot of the people in her family and historically, like they have experiences where they've had people in their past visit them, not necessarily the sense of that mystical like ghost type of thing. So I understood what she was doing. I guess when I read it, I didn't.
That's a very that can be a Louisiana type situation. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Louisiana. I mean, but for some, I don't get into that too much, you know.
No, I understand. I can see how it pull you in and out of the story as well. I like because I didn't see it as like a real ghost. I almost saw Richie almost like he wasn't. I guess I didn't view him as a ghost, even though clearly he was. So it didn't bother me. But
he was a ghost, but I think it was. But you know, it's like when we found your video, because I had said, you know, writing is it's beautiful. She has a way of really dragging you through it. Okay, when you're reading, you get dragged through the mud. Okay, and you barely have time to come out for air, then she didn't shove your face down in it. She is, you know, when she has writing that is particularly depressing. Once you go the full 360 of her story, which I find you know that she write away. Yeah. Anyway, you know that's me. But you know that's me having read one book from her. The Buried Saint.
Or
just one book. That's how that book made me feel. I felt like I was working real hard when I was reading that book.
Men We Reaped or Sing Unburied Sing?
No, Sing Unburied Sing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Sing Unburied
I felt like I was working.
It is one of those
real
where
hard.
It almost grabs you and it doesn't let you go. Like when you said that, I pictured the car scene. I don't know who's read it or hasn't read it, but I picture how I felt stuck in that car. You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't. That's the only one I've read, but I said, okay, I'll try to read Men We Reap because that's the one that most people tell me to love.
Please read it.
They said, oh, that book is so good. I'm like, okay.
Please read it. And I would love to hear an update, an honest update, because I'm like, I thought it was good. It's so good.
Because
you actually gave me hope because it's one that I wanted to read, but sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. What is it? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying maybe Sing Unburied Sing just wasn't for me, you know. But Men We Reaped will be, you know. So I don't know. All right, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying she actually gave me hope because after reading Sing Unburied Sing, it was one of my favorite books that I read last year. So I'm like totally stuck on the goal of trying to read her entire catalog. But I've been hesitant about the Men We Reap because of the reason she stated. She was kind of hesitant too about it being just super depressing and like heart-wrenching. But you've given me hope to like bump it up higher in the TBR. So
a lot of people like that one.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I've not heard anything bad about that book. Yeah. Nothing about it. They just say it's just amazing, and she's just a wonderful writer, and the way she, you know, writes everything is just so poignant, and you know, I've just heard good things about that one. So, yeah, I'm thinking that'll work for me. Men We Reap will work for me. Okay. Does anybody? What about you, B? Do you have some recommendations?
Actually, it's one that I read this time last year, and I don't know, like if since people have been talking about it, because you know I fall in and out of Booktube a little bit. But I loved, you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds.
Yeah.
And like I promise you, when I read this, hardly anybody was talking about this book. And like
now it's
you guys, I'm so say it again.
Now it's everywhere.
Oh, is it really? Okay, good.
Yeah,
it deserves to be. It seriously deserves to be.
It is. I finished it last month because I heard about it.
Are you serious? Did you like it?
Loved it.
Loved it. So good. I'm so normally not a YA fan or whatever, and so it touches on gun violence. A young 15-year-old boy, his brother is killed. He's shot, and just basically the entire book takes place within a minute, and it's just him on the elevator ride down to make a decision of whether he's actually going to get revenge.
Yeah.
And he just meets everybody along the way that's been interconnected with his brother's life, but just the way that it's told, and it's told in verse. And I actually listened to the audiobook, which is read by the author, and absolutely amazing. It blew me away. I'm still talking about it like a year later. Recommended to everybody, whether you like YA or not, whether you like poetry or verse or not. Very strong, very good book.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. It was my first book, like in verse. And I saw a paperback copy of it at Barnes and Noble, and it had all these accolades on the front of it. But I still was like, I don't know. So let me go ahead and check it out from the library. And the libraries had a few copies that was readily available. And I read it on my couch that evening and was like, oh, this is so great. I need to try more creative writing like this. It really was great. It reminded me of, what is it? The Christmas Story, where the guy has like the Christmas ghosts that come and visit him.
Yeah, Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, was anybody confused by the ending? Not to give the ending away.
Haven't read it. Hush, Jordan.
Okay. But I just filled out. I felt like the ending was
now you gotta read that.
But I won't talk about it. I just want to know, anybody else was confused, or was it clear for you guys? I just need to know. Was it clear, or was it?
I don't remember.
It was kind of clear for me.
Oh, it was clear for you? Okay, offline. I need to get an explanation because. Okay.
Anything else, B?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's all
Is
I
that
have for now, everyone.
That's fine.
Okay, what about you, Rachel? Have you got some?
I had the toughest time picking out something, but the one I decided was Say You're One of Them by U.M. Akpan.
I have that.
Yeah. This was an Oprah pick, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah, 2009, it says on the front. 2009, Oprah's book club pick. I'll try not to get close. You guys can see the spelling of his name.
Okay.
And this is a book that I read a few years ago, but it has stuck with me for a very long time. It's a collection of stories about different African children and strife or challenges that happen to them throughout, in their lives. So it's a very short snapshot of their life, but there's a lot of emotion that's packed into this book. How long is it? Like 345 pages, but I still think about this book, and I read it years ago. So I think that's just a clear sign that it's something special about this.
My jaw is stuck in open status because I did not know it was a collection of short stories. I legit thought that it was like a novel and that it was going to be a difficult novel, and I wasn't going to be able to take a break in between to give myself some time and space. Now I want to bump that up.
Yeah. So you can read it in chunks if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there. Trigger warning for everything.
Okay.
So, yeah, just beware. Go in it with a little bit of trepidation and a little bit of guard your heart a little bit, because this is about children. So, just be warned with that. But it's very impactful. And like I said, it's something that I think about often. You guys know I don't reread books, but this would be one of those books that I would pick up and start again and know that I'd be satisfied with it if I read it another time. So that was my selection.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now,
Awesome.
I want to read that like this month.
I'm sure your library has copies of it because
I have it. I own it.
Oh, you have it. Okay.
Oh man.
And as far as like what I'm going to read, I think, I've just been patient patiently waiting for the 5th so I can go and pick up Black Leopard, Red Wolf. I mean, everything must stop on February 5th after 4:30 when I get off work. That is all.
I'm legit scared to get that book.
I'm not
I've
sure.
never read a Marlon James book, and I don't want to be disappointed because this is like his first jump in the fantasy fray, and I'm really scared to be disappointed and to hate it, and then everybody be like, "This is what you're talking about."
Look, he can handle it because he grew up reading that kind of stuff. He loves that kind of stuff. That's like.
And I read a really long article. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Or I was just going to say I read a really long article about Marlon James and his life, and he seems to be a little bit more eccentric, like kind of more of an eccentric type of person, and he comes off to me as like a super creative spirit. So I feel like I just know it's going to be all of the things.
And handle it.
Right.
Yeah. The research he did with like the African folk tales and yeah, all of the things. So all it's going to do is probably open up another box where I'm going to try and do more research and learn more about, because all I knew when I was growing up was Anansi the spider, so I know it's so much. I know it's so much bigger than that. So hopefully it sparks more curiosity.
Yeah, it's just, I just wish people would stop saying it's like the Black version of
Game of Thrones.
That's right.
And do you know who did I watch that just read the back of it? The novel Lush. She got it from the publisher and she read the back of it. And it says on the back production part of it that is uncomparable to anything else. And I'm like, well, fuck, they've been comparing it to Game of Thrones for the past 6 or 7 months. What you mean?
I don't like that because that's not saying much because what if you didn't like Game of Thrones?
Right.
And what if you compared to Game of Thrones? Why can't it just be a book standing on its own?
Right.
Yeah.
As I understand in that same article, it was really long and I could post it to my Twitter later. I actually listened to this article, this woman like reading the article, but it actually, I believe, was Marlon who described it as a Black Game of Thrones. And so people just kind of took it and ran with it.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah, I don't like the Black.
He's thinking he wasn't. Because that's like the best way to get that shit coined. It's like you say it yourself and then they're all gonna, they're gonna, make it like the thing.
Yeah, but please share it on your Twitter because I would love to.
Yes. Okay, I will. And the woman who read the article had like such a great voice. So yeah. It's a long one.
Are any of y'all reading How Long Till Black Future Month, or have any of y'all read it?
It's in my cart. It's in my cart.
But I've heard people say it's good.
Yeah,
I'm 3 stories in.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything bad about it. I've heard only good.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything bad about it. It's in my cart. What's stopping me from buying it is completely an aesthetic thing. I have the Inheritance trilogy bind up, which is in paperback. I have the the Broken Earth trilogy with the
season, whatever.
Yes, yeah. That's on ebook, and this is in hardback. And I'm like, if it's on my shelf, it's not going to match the Inheritance trilogy. That's literally the only reason why I haven't bought it yet.
That's funny.
The only reason why.
All my shit got a match.
It's so stupid, but that's really the only reason why I haven't bought it yet.
I get it. Got a match. I don't even get matches. All right. I've got 2 to suggest.
Okay. Yay!
First one is this one, Blanche on the Lamb. Since today the photo challenge was thriller, crime novel, I've decided to show this one because this is one that a lot of people don't really talk about, have not really read, but it is the first, I think it's a series of 3 or 4 books with Blanche is the main character, and she's this sassy Black maid who realizes that people don't think she's very smart, or that she's really listening, or that she's that she can, you know, be a threat of any kind. But in fact, like, she's cueing in to everything that's being said and everything that happens, and she basically winds up solving a mystery. It's really good because it has you hear Blanche inside, you know, her voice is what you're hearing throughout the novel, and you're seeing what she sees, and it's just done super well. It reads really fast. It's you can relate to Blanche immediately. You like her immediately, and she's often juxtaposed in an environment where she may be one of maybe 2 or 3 Black people. The other main characters are white. So it makes for an interesting dynamic in telling the story as a mystery. It's really, really well done. If you're looking for something that's fast to read, that's interesting, but that's a little different from a typical mystery novel, definitely Blanche on the Lamb. Really good. The other one I have is this one, Jam on the Vine.
Is that a thriller?
No, this is not a thriller.
Okay, I have that too. I was like,
no, this is not a thriller. I mean, I could show Walter Mosley, Easy Rollins, but you'd be sick of seeing that, right?
Okay,
I liked her IG post.
How many times do I mention Octavia Butler? Do you think
Oh
I can?
Lord, how much? I didn't plug that to death. But anyway,
so I have one Walter Mosley book and I have yet to read it, but I really need to. I keep saying I'm going to get to it. It's The Man in My Basement, I think it's called.
I have that one too.
But
I've been hearing mixed reviews on that one, so I'm scared to pick it up now because
okay, if I read it, I'll do a separate review for you.
See, Walter Mosley, the thing is, he writes so many different types of novels that sometimes it just doesn't go over well. You know, some things he writes are just a little bit cuckoo.
But sometimes those are good ones because, like, have y'all read The Wave by him?
No, that's like a sci-fi one, The Waves.
Yeah,
that's
on my list. Weird. It's out there, but
it's out there. But like, but then he wrote, like, I read, what was the other one? Debbie Doesn't Do It Anymore.
You didn't read that one, did you?
I quite liked it, actually.
Okay, you did like that. Somebody didn't like it. They weren't into it.
Doesn't do it anymore. He's writing as a Black woman who used to be a porn star.
I remember this review.
No, Rachel, I was dubious as well. Okay, I was like, what is a Black man writing about a Black woman who can be a porn queen who is now doesn't want to be a porn queen anymore? But it was well done because you actually see how that character moves away from being this porn star, but like a porn star where she could go nowhere without people knowing who she is because she's got this white grayish hair, you know, extensions and stuff, and you cannot go anywhere and not notice her, and you see her change physically and mentally as the book goes along. It's done pretty well. I was surprised. I gave it 3.5. It's pretty good. But the rest, you know, I don't know. I just saw one with KT. She did a review. It was John Woman.
And I haven't even watched it.
He was not that was a no ma'am. Okay.
Her thumbnail had me crying laughing.
KT was like, no.
Her thumbnail is her holding the book.
Yeah.
Says, I do not like this.
She was just like, there was a lot going on that was wrong. Okay, all wrong. So, no for John Woman. But yeah, so, you know, Walter Mosley, I just think he's a really cool writer because he writes. He doesn't let anyone tell him, no, you can't write that. no, he just writes it. He does the YA thing. He does the sci-fi thing. He does the mystery thing. He's even done the erotica thing as well. Okay, the erotica is pretty weird. It's weird. But you know, he's tried a lot of things, and I respect him as a writer for that, because you know that is what writing is you write what you want and you try to do different things, and we can't fault him for trying, you know, so can't fault him for that. But Easy Rawlins, absolutely.
I was surprised how much I liked Easy Rawlins, because you know mystery is not a thing for me, and I've only read Devil in a Blue Dress because that's the only one that I own, and the series is not readily available. It's not available at my library. And Blanche on the Lamb, Blanche is not at my library either. Either system. Remember I told you I had the system for the area I live in?
Ebook. It wasn't
ebook. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do for that. I think I have two systems.
$4.99.
How much?
$4.99 when I picked it up on ebook.
Okay.
It was really in
your library offer Mobius, like interlibrary loan, where you can just get it from another library.
We have our library system. It has its own interlibrary loan system where if my library that's literally right down the street from me doesn't have it, then I can request that it be transported to that library. And both of the library systems, because I live in one area and I work in another. So I use both systems, but neither system has the Blanche series available.
I think that's a shame, and that's because it's old.
But you know, you can request. A lot of times they respond to my request. If you send the request on there, a request to purchase, they'll purchase. I don't know how extra you are, but I do that for a lot of Black books.
Now I will go in and make that request because I've been going to my library since I was in second grade, so I don't give a fuck if you think you should request it or not. If I'm telling you to request it, get that shit. That's how I literally. That's how I feel when I go to my library.
It was published in 1992. 1992.
That's not old.
Yeah, well, that's kind of old. And it hasn't.
When they have Wild Seed, which was published in the 80s.
Yeah,
that was published in 79. That's
different. That's Octavia Butler.
Yes, it is. I'm just saying.
Okay, come on now. I mean, nothing. No shade against Barbara Neely, but Barbara Neely is not as well known
as Octavia Butler.
Exactly. And so this one was republished again in 2014, and then they just dropped the ball and didn't do anything else. So basically you need to comb all of your places where you can buy used books, and maybe you could find a copy or two, or just get it on ebook.
That'll probably be what I end up doing.
And just to clarify, we have it where it's like 8 libraries in the city. I understand that, the transferring to get it closer to you. But I mean, like, sometimes on your library's website, they have interlibrary loan. Like, I've requested books that have come like from Texas. And they come to my state, and then I read them that way, and then I give it back to the library, and they mail it back to Texas, because Texas is like the only place that has a copy of the book. So
I'm going to my library's website right now to see if that's a thing.
But that's
called Mobius.
Mobius.
Okay.
I just found out that we had Hoopla. Like,
I use my library a lot. My tax dollars are put to work.
No,
that's it. That's it.
But definitely get that one. And then my second one is this one, which is Game on the Vine. This is like a literary fiction, and it talks about the beginning of the Black press in America.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's a main character living in a small town, and it shows how, as she grows up, she writes all the time. She's always writing things, and it shows how she then becomes a reporter and starts her own newspaper. And this is just sort of like a homage to the beginning of, the Black press in America, specifically the Defender. It's supposed to be like a wink at that whole historical side of it. But it's a really great read. It's got some great food descriptions, fantastic descriptions. Yeah, I mean, I love me some good food descriptions. And just the whole idea around the press is really cool, and it's just beautifully written and beautifully constructed. And there's a little bit of a love story in it between two women. And yeah, it's a really good read. And it's, you know, the thing about this one that really annoyed me is that somehow this book came out and it just didn't get the, you know, the push that it should have gotten when it came out.
And I'm sorry, what was the title again? Because I keep searching, I can't find it on Goodreads.
It's and the writer's name is LaShonda Patrice Barnett. I follow her over on Instagram, and
the only two people that I heard talking about that book when it came out was you and Steve Reed's books.
Yeah, we both liked it a lot.
Y'all were the only two I heard talking about it.
Michael Reed's read it as well. He liked it a lot as well. And if I remember correctly, this book, let's see, when did it come out? I think she's working on another book too.
Goodreads says 2015. Goodreads says February 2015.
Yeah, that's right, 2015. That's when it came out, but for some reason it came out and it didn't get the recognition I think it should have gotten.
It didn't get the publicity.
Not at all. And I think I did hear about it. I did listen to something on NPR about it, which was really good. But it just didn't get the push that it should have gotten. I was disappointed, but very good book and beautiful writing and interesting story. Love this cover because it has the newspaper press in the background with the flowery girls in the front. It's just, I like it. I like everything about it. So those are my two. Yeah, so let's check out the conversation below and see what's going on.
So Bree, you said you're looking for more poetry by Black writers, and this is one that I picked up. I haven't read it yet, but I mean the cover art, come on.
Yeah,
by Marcus Wicker.
That is gorgeous.
Like, to me, these look like freeform.
Yeah, they look like freeform, yeah.
So I'll let you know how
for
good
poetry, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you could read Gwendolyn Brooks, fantastic. In particular, Gwendolyn Brooks, Blacks. That one is really, really good.
I had to run when I heard Black poetry books because Donnell Smith, Don't Call Us Dead. Just buy it. Yeah. You'll love it if you haven't read it.
There's also Nikki Giovanni. Anything by Nikki Giovanni is excellent. There's also Rita Dove. Oh, Rita Dove is awesome.
Really? Okay.
Let's see who else. Poetry. Oh, Terrence Hayes.
Oh, I know you like that one.
Terrence Hayes. Come on now. Got to read Terrence Hayes if you want poetry. This is good poetry.
And what was the last one? American Sonnets for My Past and Future Assassins. You had a video on that too.
That one is awesome. That one is really, really good.
I'm so out of the poetry loop.
Me too. I'm just picking up whatever looks good on the cover, and I'm like, oh, that looks good.
I don't even have any. I think the last collection I have was from a friend of mine that I used to work with way back in the day. Like, it's been years since I picked a poet. I need to change that.
If you do, don't call us dead. Shameless plug.
Let's see. What are they talking about? Okay, they're giving each other recommendations. So I see White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Yeah. Everything Zadie Smith.
Yeah, Bree
that's so
asked
funny.
for,
I can't connect.
some suggestions on where to start.
I did a confession on the chat. I actually can't. I'm gonna try. Tell me which one I should try with her, because I tried White Teeth. When I tell you I tried, and I was like, something's wrong with me. Because I'm just, I'm not understanding.
I really like White Teeth, but White Teeth is not an easy read. I mean, you don't have to start with White Teeth. You can start with like On Beauty, or you could start with NW, or you could start with
Okay, I'll try On Beauty.
But you know what? It also has to be said that every author is not for every reader.
That's true.
They're not.
So I mean, definitely try something else to see if she is for you, but she may not be. She may not be for you, and that's okay.
You might really like On Beauty, though.
I'm gonna try that.
A lot of people that's like a retelling of what's that book? It's a classic, Howard's Inn. It's a retelling of it's a modern retelling of Howard's Inn.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
So I just added that. I'm gonna try that one. I'll let you know how that one goes.
It's not the one that I love the most, but it's not bad, and a lot of people like it, so you might like it. Let's see, what else did people say? Ida B. Wells. I haven't read anything by Ida B. Wells. I think I have one book by Ida B. Wells.
I used to have a book by her, and I loaned it and never got it back.
Oh dear.
Swing Time.
Swing Time is really good too. That's a really good one. Swing Time. Let's see. Somebody suggested somebody called Clay Joe. I don't know who that is.
Someone asked for recommendations for children.
Did someone ask for that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for children, like what age? Like middle grade, or what is that writer's name? Rita Martinez, something or other.
I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, I don't have. I need to change that. I have a niece now. I need kitty books.
Yeah,
I bought the classic because I loved it when I was little. But I don't know how young we're talking, but I found me a copy of Amazing Grace.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you guys remember this story.
I think I do remember that story.
You know who just posted a video with some Venetia's book club said Rita Williams Garcia. Is that who you were talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. Her books are really good.
Oh crud. Cerelia, she just posted a video this week, and in that video, because she's from Puerto Rico, but it was books that were written by Black authors, children's books that were written by Black authors, but the illustrator was Puerto Rican, and one was something about the moon, and the cover art was gorgeous.
See, while you're finding that, I'm trying to show like We Rise, We Resist, We Raise Our Voices. It's like a collection of middle grade and younger authors on there. And if you're looking for different authors that write books, I had got that for one of my friend's sons, a book for him. And I feel like that would be good because it gives you like a list of different authors as well. If you're trying to see minority writers or Black writers. It has like Jacqueline Woodson, Jason Reynolds, and a few other people on there.
Okay.
So this is the one that I was looking at. My internet on my laptop is moving significantly slowly, and I am wonderfully impatient. But it's called Beautiful Moon, A Child's Prayer by Tanya Bolden. Did someone say her name in the chat?
Tanya Bolden in the chat?
Taye Diggs writes books.
Taye Diggs, right? I was about to say the same. I didn't know Taye Diggs wrote books. There's also this one by Milo Freeman, Hair, It's a Family Affair.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's adorable. It's really cute.
That is cute.
This is the one, if you can see that.
Ooh, that's
pretty. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And like, I want to get it just so that when I go visit my niece, even though she won't understand what the hell I'm saying, I'm going to just start reading it to her because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that looks cute too. And then I got sent this one, which I'm going to be reading that one this month. It's called Zora and Me, the Cursed Ground. This one,
I heard about that.
Yeah.
The main character is supposed to be Zora Neale Hurston when she's a child.
Okay.
This one, and I have a feeling, I can't remember, but I think this is the second one in the series.
Okay. Who wrote that?
It's somebody called it's a woman, T.R. Simon.
Okay.
This one is published by Candlewick Press. Let's see. It doesn't have a picture of her here. Wait, let me see. I might have the flyer because it's the publisher sent that one to me. Let me see if I don't have the flyer, which is a little better. It might have a picture of her. I think it's two women that write it together.
Victoria Bond and T.R. Simon.
That's it. Oh wait, here we go.
No, that's Cynthia Bond. I was like, isn't that the chick who wrote Ruby? No, that's Cynthia Bond.
That's her right there, T.R. Simon.
Okay.
Okay. So it's I think this one is number 2. Zora and Me.
Yeah, the first one is just Zora and Me.
Exactly, because I think Zora and Me is the series name, and the second one is called The Cursed Ground. So it's supposed to be kind of like a little spooky kind of like story, set in a Black community. I think that's the part that's really cool about it, is that it's set in a Black community.
And Books in Big Hair, I forget what her book is, but it's coming out like in November, I want to say. She wrote a book. I was trying to look up the name, but I can't remember what
she writes. Isn't it young adult she writes?
I thought she was writing a middle grade book.
It's a middle grade. That's it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I have to be on the lookout for that because the description sounded good. And another middle grade this is what I'm going to be reading this month. It's Genesis Begins Again. It came out in
Hold
January.
it up a little bit more. They were saying hold it up a little bit more and over because all of our faces are blocking the entirety of the Bible.
Oh yeah, okay. Genesis Begins Again.
Yeah, so this is a middle grade one, and the description sounded so good. It was like a book. I was like, if I was younger, I would have liked to have read it. So even though I'm not younger, I'm gonna read it. But yeah.
I feel like I need to read middle grade now because I totally skipped reading middle grade when I was of the age to read middle grade.
Middle grade, yes. Yeah. But I like middle grade. For some reason, I feel like middle grade it's in some cases it's done better. For some reason, I don't know why, but when you're reading it, you really feel like you're getting something out of it, and you can kind of see what they want the child to get out of it. Where sometimes YA can kind of go off. But middle grade is usually pretty concentrated, and it's I like reading middle grade. I just think it's pretty interesting the way the stories are told.
And the last kid book, since we talking about kid books, this was one I wanted to read simply because John Steptoe, apparently, I guess his daughter or his kids actually write children's books. Well, I didn't know, and I saw this in the library, and I was like, I want to read it. It's Radiant Child, and it's about Basquiat, I guess, kid life. I haven't read it, but the pictures was so beautiful. So I was like, let me go ahead and read it and see if it's good, so I can get it for like kids in my life or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I haven't read it, so I can't necessarily vouch, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks good.
Anyways,
let's see if there's any other suggestions. There's a lot of great suggestions in the section.
Yeah.
Chocolate Me and Mixed Me.
And the chat, when everything converts over to YouTube to save on YouTube, the chat should save as well. So if you're watching this back, you should be able to click the live chat to be able to see what was discussed in the chat as well.
Yeah, it will normally. It should. The chat should.
Yeah, because it's a lot of good stuff going on over there.
Yeah. There's some really good. Some good suggestions here. let's see. So what do you guys think about, did you guys see The Hate You Give?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen the movie, only read it.
I haven't read it or seen the movie.
Yeah, same.
I think it was last weekend. No.
I'm gonna have to do a double dose and just like get it done in a short period of time.
I thought it was pretty good, even though it was a bit of a Nike ad. But Nike was everywhere.
Say that again.
Boxes, the girl was dressed completely in Nike. It was just Nike. They got theirs in. Okay, endorsement. Okay.
Okay. We gotta get in the bottom of your face.
You can. Oh, here.
Oh,
sorry. I was moving camera around. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was a bit of a Nike ad, but I thought it was good. It really does match the book. I didn't necessarily think that Star looked like Star, but whatever. It was still good. She was a good actress. Yeah. I haven't seen It Feels Good to Talk yet, but I really want to see it. I have to go and see it really soon if I want to see it. But
wait, can you say it again? Because it broke up the connection. I didn't hear you.
I would like to see It Feels Good to Talk.
Okay.
But I'm gonna have to see it before it's not in English, like this week.
You're gonna have to see it before it's done in English?
Yeah, I have to see it now before I have it in English.
Okay.
Because what they'll do is they'll have it in English the first 2 weeks that it comes out.
Oh.
And then afterwards, I'd have to go to Paris to see it in English.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If I want to see it in my area, I have to go this week at some point when I have a free moment and see this movie.
I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are when you see it. I
But
loved it a lot.
The clips are beautiful. I've seen, the clips that I've seen in the movies, they're beautiful. Beautiful filming, the music, it just looks really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about seeing that. But yeah. So,
are there any other books that are coming out later this year that you guys are excited about?
Let's see.
The
things that are on the docket.
Zadie Smith has 2 coming out this year. 2 books. One in October and another one, I don't know when it is. I think it's in summer. One is a short story collection and the other one is a novel, I think.
I am looking forward to a book that I didn't even know was coming out until I did my anticipated release. After I did my anticipated releases video, River Solomon, who wrote An Unkindness of Ghost, is doing or has done a novel adaptation of a song by Clipping, and it's called The Deep. And I'm like fucking excited. I'm literally trying to contain myself.
I saw that. Does it have a release date? Because I saw a post about it, but I didn't see a release date with it.
I haven't seen a release date. She actually just posted, or excuse me, they just posted that it's got a cover.
Yeah, that's what
that's what they just posted. So I don't think it has a release date yet. But if you haven't heard The Deep by Clipping, like just look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's another one that's coming out is Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn.
Oh.
That's coming out in July. I can't wait because I know it's going to be good.
Yeah. What was the title again, Zadie?
It's called Patsy. Patsy. Nicole Dennis Benn, she wrote Here Comes the Sun, which I loved that book. And Patsy will be coming out I think it's July. It's coming out. So
nice.
That's really good. She's come out with one fairly quickly. That's like 2 years later. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ajax Junior 40. Children of Virtue and Vengeance got pushed back.
So is that the second part of Children of Blood and Bone?
Blood and Bone, yeah, it got pushed back to June.
Wow. Okay.
She's still actively writing it. Like she's still actively writing and editing it. If you follow her on Instagram, she's sharing that whole process. She's still actively working on it.
So I need to follow her because I follow her on Twitter, not Instagram.
What did you guys think about that controversy about her and the title of her book?
Ridiculous. People are so crazy.
Sorry. You know, there are so many folk. There are so many novel ideas by Black folk that are taken, but that are used. Like to say that somebody took the name of your novel is like saying somebody took your kid's name. Yep. Names are really, really common.
That's something that I had to share with like one of my subscribers that commented under my video and said, well, how are they able to do that when there's a book that already has this title? Not talking about this Blood and Bone book, but it was a separate book. And I just said, a lot of people don't know that books aren't under copyright law. Right. Like if there could be 4 books
titles are not under copyright law.
Right. That's what I mean. The title. So it could be maybe 4 books that's titled The Deep. And you don't have any, say over someone potentially using that in the future. It's not like, an item like rollerblade where people can't then call your inline skates rollerblades again. That's
right.
How it works.
And it's like, look at somebody like Bernice McFadden. There are so many novels named Sugar.
Yeah, they do.
That was like, it's just, I don't think that anybody who is writing a book is going searching for somebody else's book to title their book after. Yeah. I don't think that people are doing that at all. Didi, is that chai tea you making?
Looks kind of good.
I'm just putting honey in right now.
We can see it.
I was about to say, we see.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
But Elizabeth Acevedo, she has another one coming out. I'm trying to look at the date, but it's With the Fire on High. It's coming out in May.
Oh, she has.
I haven't read The Poetess yet. I need to do that. Somebody, Arlene.
Tati.
Huh?
Tati.
I know. I feel like I need a shame head. I know. I need to get on it. I need to get, like, I've literally heard nothing negative about it. And then when Didi posted her review, I was like, oh shit. I really she loved it. Gave it 5 stars. It's hard to get a 5-star book out of Didi. That is
okay.
Multiple orgasms out of something.
Yep, it sure is.
To do. Look,
because you know what happens when it's 1 star, it goes right out the window.
That is hard to do. And when she said 5 stars, I was like, damn.
It was good, that book.
I got to get on it.
It was. And I guess the Nickel Boys, that's the other one that I had on my list when I look at it.
Oh yeah, I have
Boys.
Yeah.
I got that one through. I got an arc of that one, and I haven't.
I got an arc of that one too. I'm supposed to be reading it on the plane. I'm taking a trip. I was like, I'm gonna read it.
That one is Colson Whitehead.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had that one on my list as well.
I'll be interested. Did you like?
Confession time.
Have you read anything else by Colson Whitehead? Like, I've only read
like Colson Whitehead.
About Whitehead.
I like everything about Colson Whitehead.
Okay, I know.
Is that like Author Bay? Is Colson Whitehead Author Bay?
Right. I like everything about
everything.
I've only read, what was that, Sag Harbor, and it just
excellent.
it just didn't click for me.
It was
so now
good,
I'm nervous about reading something else because I'm really thinking that he might be one of those authors who's just not.
No, but you know what you should read? You should read the Underground Railroad.
I was gonna say, yeah, that one I feel like everybody.
He has this kind of sci-fi kind of funny flair to it.
Yeah, and it's like an adventure. You like feel like you're on it. Like it's.
I have one of the science fiction books.
You're gonna like that, Tatiana, I promise.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with Sag Harbor. Sag Harbor. See, the thing about Colson Whitehead I like is that
none of his books are the same.
Different ways tells a story. So I think one book you may not like, but another one you will like.
Okay.
Sag Harbor wasn't your thing, but I think you'll like the Underground Railroad. It's a really brilliant book. Very well.
I have Zone 1, which is like a zombie apocalypse.
I have that one too.
By Colson Whitehead.
Apocalypses, but
Rachel, did you like that one?
I didn't read it. I have it though.
I was gonna say if you liked it, I'll read
I haven't read it, but you know what? Maybe we better do a buddy read, Rachel.
Okay, and I haven't read the Underground Railroad either, but I own that too.
I can't.
And then that'll be my first contribution to sci-fi.
Okay.
No, it has to be a sci-fi book that I'm gonna read. Damn it, I can't.
Well, damn. Okay. Well, then if you're gonna read, then let's just stick to Lilith's Brood. I'll stick to Lilith's Brood.
That's right.
I'm here for that. I'll read that one.
I really wish I could do zombies, but I can't.
Really?
You don't like reading
I have watched
Walking Dead is good.
I have watched 2 zombie movies: Michael Jackson's Thriller and Resident Evil.
I'm done.
That's not a zombie.
You are dead. You should. No, I can't.
No,
I'll stick with my vampires.
Well, look, do you not read the comic of Walking Dead? Because that's really good.
Hell no.
It's better than the show.
I don't like
the show really fell off. The show disappointed me. That used to be my favorite show, and now
I love the comic. Yeah. The comic is
it's fallen far.
It's very good. The comic.
That's one of the most disappointing shows as far as my excitement level of how invested I was, and I was in there. And after they did Sasha, that was what did it. But anyway, that's really what did it. After that, I was like, the show just fell apart. They should have known better.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Once they gave Negan the 1,379th chance, I stopped watching the show.
Exactly. Because at first the Negan thing, we're getting on a tangent, but at first the Negan thing was cool, but bruh, how many chances can you get? It's unbelievable.
Well, it's a TV show, so there you go.
Anyways, zombies.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's one zombie book. One sci-fi.
Is it a limit?
Look, for Didi, yes.
No. The only reason why I don't look sci-fi.
The limit does not exist.
Sci-fi is something that I love to watch when I'm at the movies because I can, get into it and see everything and understand. But when I have to read that shit. Like my brain suddenly becomes the size of a freaking pea, and I can't remember what happened 3 pages before. Okay.
Did you ever try an unkindness of ghosts? I know you said you were going to. Did you ever really try
it? That is not an unkindness of ghosts is not going to mesh with her. I promise you. I wish it would. Okay. I really wish you would, but I don't think an unkindness of ghosts is going to mesh with her.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
I love.
Everybody's gonna pick my book.
What'd you say?
Pick that sci-fi book for Didi.
Yeah, I don't think. Didi would get caught up in.
You see, musical Tati. Tatiana, you said no, that's not going to be for her. Jordan said, "Oh yeah, I think that would be for her." And Jerry said that one would be for me. Jerry said that. We met up in Paris. I said, I don't know, Jerry. I don't know. And she said that one. She said that one for me.
Because it's really science. It's not as like, science fiction. It's not as like weird. Well, it might be a little weird, but whatever.
It is a little weird because you have to put yourself onto the idea of the generation ship, and then you have all of the personalities. Yeah. And
once you get in the world, though, you in the world, and it's just normal.
That is 100% true. Once you get into the world, you are in it. But you got, Didi, if you read it, you have to allow yourself the opportunity to get into the world.
It's not a problem be allowing, but if you think that was 3 pages before, I mean, what can I do? What point is it size of a pea? I can't remember.
I'm really intrigued. I would like for you to give it a try just to see which, like, who's right.
The plan is this. I'm gonna do Lilith's Brood because I think I'm gonna like that one. I mean, because I already read Kindred and I loved it, so I think I'm gonna love that one. But guess what I'm gonna be reading?
What?
Children of Blood and Bone.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
You can let me know how it is.
Yeah.
So you have 100 before pitching the book out the window because I get frustrated when I'm bored.
How is that happening?
Because when I went to Paris to meet up with Lanicia, I don't know if you know Lanicia over on Instagram. You don't know her on Instagram. We met up in Paris and we went to Shakespeare & Co. And outside of Shakespeare & Co., they have these, books. They're like, they're the really cheap, used ones. And they had a secondhand copy of Children of Blood and Bone. It only cost me €7 and it only been read once.
Oh, wow.
So I said, okay, what the heck? I don't know if I'll read this and I'm liking it, but I'll try. So
I am like, hey, I'm happy.
Girl, you happy too fast because I hadn't picked it up yet.
But you have it. You have it. It's like
but when I do, believe me, you'll know. You'll know.
I feel like Steve Urkel. I'm wearing you down.
Yeah. I hope I'm gonna love it as much as everyone else does online, and everywhere else.
Yeah, it's hard when you have those books where everybody talks about it for so long that they like it, and then you get it and it's overhyped. And then
you hate it.
It's like
the story of my life.
But I'm cool with you hating it. I just want you to read it. I'm cool with you hating it.
Oh, she reads, but I think I overhyped Children of Blood and Bone because it was more on the side of okay for me. Its concept went a long way to me enjoying it rather than the actual writing.
Okay.
Oh, really? I guess I can see it, but
I get that.
Yeah, I guess I can see it.
I can understand. I can respect that. I can respect that.
The concept is really what I really do. Like,
Marina said, "Let's pray for her not to throw it away."
Yes, don't throw it away.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna keep an open mind. I'm going to pick it up, probably not this month, next month maybe, or in April. Pick it up. The weather will be better. My head will be central, my cup of tea, and I'll just see how it goes.
That's a good idea, Sherry. What are some of you ladies' favorites, like your favorite podcasts that you like to listen to?
Ooh, Friend Zone.
Books and Rhymes.
I didn't know Books and Rhymes had a podcast.
Yeah, Books and Rhymes has a podcast. They're pretty cool. Those two girls.
I listen to LeVar Burton Reads podcast because it's like my childhood, and I love his voice.
Yeah,
and I
love LeVar Burton Reads. That's one of my favorites too. I also love Ear Hustle. Do any of you guys listen to Ear Hustle?
Never heard of that. Okay, wait. Piece of paper.
Yeah, it's a podcast that's broadcast out of San Quentin Prison. Whoa, and there's an inmate who is the co-host, who was recently just yeah, that was recently just pardoned by their governor and is now released. But the podcast is going to continue. But I really do enjoy it, and the variety of discussion topics that they have about just what goes on inside the walls of San Quentin prison. They talk about everything from, you know, fatherhood to managing relationships to like forgiveness between like the inmate and the person who may have been the victim of their crime that they committed. So many different things, so many topics, and I really look forward to it every Wednesday.
And what was the name again? I was typing and then I started listening to more.
It's called Ear Hustle.
So it's Ear Hustle. Okay, so I'm gonna
listen. Oh, and the one for Books and Rhymes, it's called Not Another Book Podcast.
I love that one. I didn't realize that was them.
Not Another Book Podcast is Books and Rhymes and two of her other friends. It's really good because they talk about a little bit of.
I forget what the New York Library, whatever their podcast is. I forget what it's called, but my phone's recording it. But theirs is good. I want to say it's called Library Talks or something. But
Sonda said that Wolverine has a podcast, and like my mind is just is what.
Are we talking about X-Men and Wolverine?
Yeah, are we talking about the real man or the character Wolverine? That would be kind of funny if Wolverine had his own podcast, though. That'd be kind of fun.
That's where my mind went. There's only one Wolverine, so.
There's another one I like is Black Chick Lit. That one is good.
I've heard of that one.
And there's another one, but I can't remember the name of it. It's Black British. It's young millennial Black Brits talking about everything. I can't remember. I wanna say it's something like Black Lit or something like that. I can't really remember the name.
But it's British?
Yeah, it's Black British millennials together. They talk about, books. They relate, and when they talk about books, they relate the conversation to what's going on today. It's really well done.
Of course, I love Book Riot. That's one that I listen to quite often.
I used to listen to Book Riot. I don't really listen to them much anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why. I think I don't know why. You know the one that I do like listening to is the one that Liberty Hardy has. All the books.
I don't know that one.
I think is what it's called. I like listening to that one.
Oh, and it's funny because I need to do a disclaimer. In here, somebody was saying also that they listen to the read because I like the read. But just so y'all know, it has nothing to do with books.
Yeah, I know. The read
that might be misleading. So when y'all listen, y'all be like,
well, you said podcast. You didn't say book podcast. You said what podcast?
Yeah, I just said podcast.
Yeah,
read 40
Your Hustle is not about books. I mean, there's one episode about books, but
yeah. Read 40 Acres.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I like the friend zone. I don't know. There's
a little thing in the chat with people who have it and haven't read it.
Oh, Lord. Read that book and
read it.
The movie they could make from.
Yes.
The movie they can make.
Now, what's scared? Now, let me tell you, what scared me about that is not. I used to dream about doing that when I was a kid. Not in that way, like not.
Okay. Yeah,
not in that way, but I dreamed about like doing something of that nature when I was a kid, and I was like, and I remember telling my granddad, and my granddad was like, "You a little twisted, somebody." But that when I read that, I had to like put it down for a day once we got there, because I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
it's a little too real."
Yeah. Oh shit, that shit is real. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a really, I mean, I just wish that when that book came out, they would have got that Simon and Schuster would have, would have done the publicity for the book like they should have, because I think more people would have read it.
Now, why do you think they ain't do? Why do you think they ain't do the publicity that they should have?
I'm just saying, I wish they would have done it. Okay, I'm trying to be positive. I wish they would have done it, but I know why they didn't do it. But then you have to ask, well, if they felt like that, why did they bother to publish it then? Like
because
I don't
because they knew it was going to sell.
Yeah, well, they should have done some publicity if they really wanted to make money. But
they knew it was going to sell. And Simon and Schuster has literally so much stuff in their backing, like with the other stuff that they do promote, that they could afford to say, we're going to take a chance because he was a screenwriter or is a screenwriter. They can say we could take a chance on this little known dude, and if it flops, we still got plenty of bank coming in from these other books.
Oh, for God's sakes. I just, I just think that whole, there are some issues with this, the publishing scene. There really is some serious issues with it. How, like a Black writer can, produce his stuff or her stuff and then get it in there, and then they want to publish it. And it's almost like you can tell if they really want you to make money or not. Like, they'll give you a good cover, or they'll give you a crappy cover and then throw it out there, and then like just mention it once, and then it'll wind up on the second table in the back of Barnes and Nobles instead of the one up front. And nobody sees your book or hears it or anything, and nobody cares. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are just totally wrong with publishing companies right now. The fact that they want the writers to do their own publicity in a lot of cases. So when they say that they will publish your book, apparently what comes into play is you as a person. Do you look like you could plug your own book? Like if you don't look like you could plug your own book, they probably won't publish it. When I heard that, I was appalled when I heard that.
That's why I think it's dope for, like, even though with this community and stuff like that, hopefully some books that possibly wouldn't get as recognized or something could possibly get recognized, but it's still a shame. Like, I don't care.
I just think that's just, that we have enough hurdles and, fiery hoops to jump through as being, Black and trying to write and get published. But that shit, that's too much, it's too much. It just seems like it's like to get, like, if you really want to get your shit published, you got to have your duckies in a row. You got to know what you're doing. You got to get, because this is one of the things with self-published novels that I have problems with, is that, the selfish person that's done the self-published book will then send it to you, and then you get the book and then you read the back, and on the back there's 3 mistakes. You're like, wait, like, did you get somebody to go through this and check your errors? Probably not, because you found 3 on the back cover. I think if you want to publish and you want to self-publish, you've got to get yourself a proper editor, a structural editor, as well as a grammatical editor. Get 2 or 1 person who can do both. That way you can make sure your book is solid when you decide to go to press with it.
Oh, Ajax Junior 40, you done said something that I done said like 20 times. And he said, how about he or she or they, I'm sorry. How about how they never reissue Black books in beautiful covers? When they reissued Octavia Butler, they were paperback. They wouldn't do that to a white writer of her caliber. And to go on even more for that, when they reissued the Parable duology in hardcover, I believe both or one of the forewords that are in that duology is by a white author.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, please.
Girl, don't get me started. What time is it? Yet. See, that's the kind of stuff that annoys me, though. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really annoys me. I mean, I used to talk about this when I started doing YouTube. Is like, when they gonna give my people some decent covers? Why we always got to have jacked up freaking covers? I mean,
this intro is done by Gloria Steinem.
Yeah, well, of course,
this one is Toshi Reagan.
So those look like, one thing that I noticed from that. Can I see that cover again, Tati? Is have you all noticed that Instagram art is now being used for cover art? That when it's Black History Month, that was a photo I saw on Instagram maybe like 2 years ago, I think. And if it's not the same girl, it's one that
similar
looks a lot like her. Like it was a whole photo shoot of young Black girls, and they had their hair in intricate designs, and but that cover looks like a woman that I follow. She does art like that, and then she even does it to where some of the pieces move in the image.
I've seen some of those, but isn't that like not a bad thing?
No, I wasn't critiquing. I was just saying that it seems like I've been seeing more photos or even models that I've seen on Instagram that they're on book covers now. Like there's one woman who I follow on Instagram who's like a model, where I just in passing had saw that her face was on a book that was not too long ago. So it's kind of interesting.
And that's like but it's like the alternative hold on, we're long. The alternative to that is like when you have books like, what is it, The Cover to the Darkest Child, I think I saw.
I have the new cover
on another book, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
I have the new cover, the one with it's the little girl's legs and shoes. And then they have the other cover, which was just some picture they did.
Right.
I've seen that picture on 3 other books.
Right. And it's the picture is the one that I have. It's the edition that I have.
So now look at this one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Look at this one. Gail Jones, Eva's Man. Look how ugly this cover is. Can this cover get any freaking uglier than this? A hot mess. But this is like really old. They have not reissued her books in decent covers.
And they probably won't.
This book was published in 1976. And this is the only cover I could find.
Is that a reprint of was that reprinted with the same cover, or
no? I think this is a first print, I think.
Oh wow!
With this ugly ass cover, it's just ew.
Someone asked, what's some of our favorite book covers of all time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was like, wow, that's a really good one.
Great question.
Oh my God.
Off the top of my head, and I swear this is not just to say her name again, I have to say Kindred, the original cover of Kindred with the girl on the front, that's the blue cover, because when I saw that in the bookstore the first time I bought it, I could not walk past it and not look at it. Like that was one of the first books that I literally like saw the cover out of the side of my out of my peripheral vision, and I had to stop and look at it. I swear that was not just to say her name again. I promise.
Yeah.
I won't say of all time, but when you described that's how I felt with an Unkindness of Ghosts, because at that time I hadn't heard anything about it, but I literally passed by and had saw it, and it was funny because it was one of my library recommendations, but when I saw it, and I was like, whoa, like it just caught my attention. So I'm trying to think of, as a kid, Mufara's Beautiful's Daughters. I know it's probably not.
Yes.
But that as a kid, I was obsessed with that. I was obsessed with that book, and it was really mainly because the cover, of course, the story too. But I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that used to be my sister's favorite bedtime story.
Yeah. My favorite cover art, probably since it's come out, is likely to be Scythe. And it's something about...
Is that by Neil Shusterman?
Yeah, it's something about the negative space. There's something about the negative space on these that just make them so pretty, appealing to me.
Yeah, it's quite graphic, you know. Even it's a drawing of something, but it's quite graphic with the color and shapes.
And it's so simple. It's something about the simplicity of it's not a lot of words on it. It's just, it makes you want to pick it up and what it's
about. Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, Oshie Reed said Evie's a boy. Pride. She's right. The inserts,
beautiful cover.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
The inside.
Gorgeous, like the inserts, and not only that, even her Black Enough, like even with the recent collection that she had, the cover art was beautiful too, like on the front and on the back of that. But anyways, her stuff do be having it good. Sorry.
If you guys remember Read So Lit, like a couple of years ago when the group read was Polished Hoe, like that cover is so striking to me.
Yeah.
That's up there.
That hoe though,
huh? honey, that's a whole nother live stream, boo.
Let me get that hoe though.
I still have that hoe. There is something in me that will not let me get rid of that hoe.
Yeah, me either. And I didn't even enjoy the book that much, but the cover is beautiful.
I did not like that book. But yeah, the cover is stunning. I did not like that book at all.
I love this book.
You like it.
Girl.
Whole nother discussion.
That book, you know what it's like? It's like a theater piece.
Yeah.
It's like reading a very long.
It's like reading a one-woman show.
And I love that. Because she was a lion hoe too.
Yeah, she was. She knew how to use a hoe.
She was a lion hoe, but it was good. It was good. I liked it. But I can understand why you didn't like it, Tatiana.
Yeah, I like the last quarter of it.
I would give Clark another go. Like after reading that, I would give Clark another go. As much as I didn't like it.
I want to read some other stuff by Clark. Definitely. Oh, Denise is laughing.
What happened?
We're talking about that hoe though.
That hoe had issues.
Oh yeah, but that cover is the bomb. That's probably one of my favorite covers.
Yeah, I think for the most part, all of us like simple covers. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Except for Pride, but even Pride with its embellishments in the background isn't like the front. It's just the script on the front, right?
Yeah, it's like she wanted to do graffiti or whatever. So really, Pride is that word. It's just a graffiti thing. Yeah. And even with the Donna Smith one, I do really like this cover, and it is like kind of simplistic. I just like it's just like two black bodies, but it's beautiful.
Wait, we're gonna have to clarify some things in the comment section. People are like, "Oh, that polished hoe sounds good." But hey, what you think the polished hoe, the hoe is like the real instrument, the garden instrument.
Yes. It's the grinding tool, not the hoe.
It was not written by Zane.
So no, it's not about a lady who's a hoe, but the book has ways. Didn't like it. Yeah, but so.
Oh Lord.
Just get it straight. Everybody be thinking it's about a hoe, and it's not about a hoe.
It's not about a
hoe. My imagination was going wild. I was like, yeah, girl, I had to stop you before I went.
Oh, she reads said, do we read a lot of plays and Black playwrights? I actually don't. So that's
I
don't either.
I don't.
I read one last year.
Who did the piano lesson?
Oh, somebody said Perfect Peace is their favorite book.
Yo, that book.
Yo, that book though.
Yo. I have never been like so okay with the comeuppance that comes to a character. Like,
is that the book with the little girl in the yellow dress on the cover?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to read
I
that.
just looked it up.
You need to read.
What's
that.
the title?
I need you to read that
piece,
and just to see what your response is after you read it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be reading that one though in the spring for sure.
You still haven't read it, did he?
Haven't read it yet. I know, and Alan is so pissed at me because I haven't read it yet. She's God, you gotta read that damn book. Daniel Black is the bomb.
Yes, Alan is like Daniel Black is Alan's Octavia Butler.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Because
any y'all gonna do a read along with that? I might
tell you, she loves Daniel Black every chance she can get.
Yes.
Well,
so to the person that asked, this is the play that I read last year by Wole Soyinka. It's called The Lion and the Jewel.
Oh, nice.
Based in Yoruba. And it was okay. I don't think it was like super groundbreaking, but I understood it a bit better once I watched a student production on YouTube. There's a college who actually
an adaptation.
So I read this and then watched it the same night, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. It was okay.
Yeah, I kind of want to read August Wilson though.
That's it. That's who wrote the piano lesson. That's the last.
Yeah, I need to read. I need to read all that, all of it.
And I want to say I read that because Alan and Eli did a read along. This was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was when they were doing their book chats together,
or
something.
So did y'all ever like with Fences and stuff?
No, I haven't read Fences.
I haven't read it.
I haven't.
The only August Wilson play I've read is The Piano Lesson.
Because they said the movie was really good. Offensive.
I seen the movie. I like the movie a lot.
It's really good.
Once Viola Snot got to going, I broke down in the movie.
I was saying that. I was like, you done said too many ridiculous stuff this live chat. Let's not do it. But that part, oh my God, I could act out the love, not like her. I could imitate that part. Oh Lord.
Man,
that was real acting, and that was real.
That would have been my response too.
And that line for all of us. Like,
yeah.
Like, are you gonna wipe that, or you just gonna let that?
You just gonna let that go into your mouth? Like, catch that.
Benitra said Fences was a good movie, but man, is it depressing.
Oh,
that's kind of true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very accurate.
Yeah, Suzanne Laurie Parks is on my radar as well. Suzanne Laurie Parks.
Oh, Lord.
We got a Tennessee Williams in here.
I don't think I've read any Tennessee Williams either. Have I read any Tennessee Williams?
Last Menagerie.
Is that who did Streetcar Named Desire?
That's Tennessee Williams, I think, too.
Cat
on the Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, Widows. I haven't, but I heard that that's so good. Someone said, have we seen it? I haven't.
No.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
My mom wanted to see it. That is not part of me wishes that those kinds of movies were my kinds of movies, but they used to be, and I don't know what happened to me once I became an adult. But I just straight reverted back to a kid, and all of the like action superhero movies and cartoons. That's all I want to see now.
it was actually pretty good though. It was a beautiful film.
I thought it was pretty good, but once I found out it was
it's a book.
The woman who wrote Sharp Objects, what's her name?
Gillian Flynn.
Gillian Flynn.
Yeah, she was a part of the movie production. I said, oh, that makes so much more sense. Like when I walked out of the movie with
she was part of the production for Widows?
Oh, hell, I didn't know that though.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So are any of y'all gonna see us, Jordan Peele's with the
absolutely.
That I'm gonna have to see, even though I'm scared. But I'm like, it just looked too good. I'm going to be
scared, but I need to see. I need to see it because I need to see these actors in a different. Because it's going to be Winston Duke's second movie, and it's going to be the third movie that I will have seen with
Lupita.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I need to see, like, I want to see Lupita in different kinds of roles, and I want to see Winston Duke not be the Jabari King or and like, because he's like this. It's so funny because like to see him in Black Panther and his like fierceness in Black Panther, but when I see him on Instagram, he is like a little cousin, and like I just want to pinch his cheeks. He's so cute. He's just like so adorable. I just want to, but yeah, I need to see him in another way, in another vein too.
Jordan Peele is definitely carving a niche for himself.
Yeah,
with the borderline horror, psychological thriller, unique Black situations that are uncomfortable but still can transfer across culture is something that is so special in him, and I'm just so excited for us to come out, and something that I feel like we need that in the mix, because horror has just become so dry in general with movies. They're just
horror is no longer horror. It's like maiming and decapitation and evisceration. I'm like, this is not horror. This is gore.
Yeah, gore.
Really grumpy, and it's not making you think or think critically about. This is something that most people, when you think about what you're connected to, what you value, what you truly do fear, and what situations really make you afraid. Because most of us aren't going to be chased by a person in a mask with the butcher knife. It's things about, like the people that are closest to you and them being at risk, or someone putting you at risk for your values. There's another movie that he's working on that I'm so excited about, and I'm going to read before. Well, I have plenty of time because it's still early in production. He's doing a movie of Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff.
Okay.
And it's a story about don't quote me on this, guys, but there's a young Black male and his father live in two different states. The state that the father lives in, like, slavery was recently done away with, but he still works for the white family that maybe previously enslaved his family or something of that sort. So then the start of the story is really where the son has to come and rescue his father from this household and from these people. So the book that it's based on is by Matt Ruff. It's called Lovecraft Country, but he's making a movie about this that should be coming out in like 2020, hopefully.
Yeah, I've seen the book Lovecraft Country, but I wasn't from Lovecraft, so I wasn't really psyched to read. Oh damn, DV got it.
Yeah, I'm on it, girl.
I wasn't really. I kind of like the cover, but now I kind of want to because Jordan.
Yeah, that's very interesting because
oh my God,
something about probably candy.
Of the title of the thing, it has like hoods.
Oh,
yes,
They're KKK hoods.
They're KKK
I thought those
hoods.
Wow.
They're KKK hoods. That's again.
Oh Jesus, this one is gonna be a rough one.
I don't know.
I might have to add that to my TBR to read that.
Girl, my TBR is trash. the video I uploaded for February is like basically moot now. This shit is trash.
See, that's why I put that picture with 2 stacks on mine. So that way I can't go wrong. I'll be something in it. Something don't get read in those that vicinity of those 2 stacks. Ain't nobody got time to be specific. Lord or the devil.
I got 5 on it. I see you writing that. Never mind. That was a good scene. Oh, did any of y'all watch Sorry to Bother You? Random tangent.
No, is that the movie with the late where the promo has the layout with the 2 black guys like beefing, but they're being like real respectful? I hope you have a wonderful day.
I don't remember that in the movie. I don't know. It's like where they use the like he has the point where they use the proper voice. What's the dude from
that's
Atlanta?
It.
Yeah. And the dude from Atlanta. I forget his name. I really like him.
Yeah, me too. I love him. I love him. His little weird character self.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I like that movie. But it does get a little weird. But I did like that movie, and I like him too as a actor. And the other dude from Atlanta, he's been in a lot of stuff too. The
Donald Glover.
Not Donald Glover. He plays Alfred on the Al on the thing. I wish I knew the actor's real name. I'm doing a horrible job at that. But if I find his name, I'll say. But he's he's Donald Glover's cousin on Atlanta. If y'all watch that show.
Oh yes.
Oh, the one that plays Paperboy.
Yes, Paperboy. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know his name.
Paperboy. But yeah.
But speaking of, I can't wait till Atlanta comes back. That's another niche show that's just like so creative that I'm just
so good.
Yeah. I have watched 0 episodes.
I cannot wait till it comes out. Wait, what you said? You said you watched how many episodes?
0. 0. I watch so much like TV and syndication. It's absolutely ridiculous because then I can have the TV on and not be paying attention to it and read or do something else. TV I have to pay attention to. The last show I watched that I had to pay attention to was Scandal. It was like now that that's gone, I was like, shit, I can do something else on Thursday. So
I don't have many shows, but when I like a show, I like Atlanta's one of those shows I just like I have to watch it. And every episode is pretty much kind of almost like standalone. So you can pick and choose kind of.
Right.
But anyways.
There's so many television shows. There's so many that yeah.
And they only hinder your reading. Careful.
Oh, speaking of reading, I don't know what possessed me to go ahead and pick up a copy of The Sims 4, but I did.
Oh, so we know where you at.
I was like, why, Rachel, as a productive adult, would you go ahead and make this purchase? Like,
look,
this is against every goal.
Video games are a thing, and I love them.
I love them too.
But that brings you joy.
It's a time vortex. It's something that happens with The Sims that doesn't happen when I'm on my PlayStation.
Yeah,
you got.
I had to move my PlayStation out of my bedroom because I was going to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 7.
Oh shit!
I had to move it out of my bedroom.
Girl,
yeah, no games in the bedroom.
It was bad.
Wow,
that's like
It was bad.
Yeah, you put that correctly when you said a time vortex.
Netflix is my time vortex too.
Absolutely.
What kind of games do you play?
I have Diablo, Dragon Age. I tried Assassin's Creed and I wasn't a fan of that. Like Diablo is my shit. I need to get into The Last of Us. I have that. I just haven't played it yet.
Yep, played that too. Do you get into God of War at all?
No, I was going to get an Xbox because God of War is not available on or I think
it's on Sony.
Yes, but I was,
Yeah, God of War has always been on Sony, so you can play it on your PlayStation.
That's what my brother-in-law told me. Like when I went to go visit them, so I was like, oh shit, so I don't need to get an Xbox. I could just get a PS4 and then just get the new games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's on the list.
Good stuff.
So yeah, but I love Diablo is just my shit, and then I really like Dragon Age. It's just taking me longer to get the hang of it than I would like, but that's okay.
Yeah, I played that a little while ago and got pretty deep into it.
Yeah.
The other women are like,
oh no, I played like Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that. I'm here for the gaming. I am.
Okay. You said you played Red Dead?
Yeah, we got it for Christmas, like that one and the latest Call of Duty, but we haven't played Call of Duty. But Red Dead Redemption 2, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, my husband has been playing that in the basement. So he's the Xboxer, I'm the Sony PlayStation.
So wait, your husband's in the basement, and you got the book girl cave above.
Yeah, he has a man cave down, and mine is upstairs. Yeah,
upstairs. Okay.
I think that's great. I think that is great.
I do too.
Separate corners when you need them.
Indeed.
Oh, Michael says, I know it's literally the second day, but how's everyone reading of
Unforgivable Love?
Unforgettable Love. I haven't started yet.
Yeah, I was going to start last night, but I was only a week behind on my temperature blanket, so I worked on that instead. So I'm going to start that tonight while I watch Big Bang Theory.
You love Big Bang Theory too? Man.
I'm reading Big Bang Theory and reading
Where have these women been all my life? Where has been all my life?
I know the
background music, girl. What's your background music?
I do that too, but not with. I do background music with fantasy and sci-fi novels, not with romance novels. Because I like listening to movie. I like listening to movie soundtracks, and they fit more with the fantasy and sci-fi, like the Pacific Rim soundtrack and the Dark Knight Rises and G.I. Joe, like those Inception. They fit more with that genre of reading than with romance. All of the romance movie soundtracks have words.
Michael says he's getting into it.
I just picked up my library copy today.
Cool.
Well, Troy Towell seems to love it. He's really gotten into it.
Who, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his video and I was like, scrub. Because he is excited about it. Like, he started that video to talk about 3 books and only ended up talking about Unforgivable Love.
Exactly. So that's why I put him on my Instagram. So I said, if anybody's going to sell this book, it's Troy.
Yes. And you know what? I forgot that Cruel Intentions was supposed to be a retelling of Dangerous Liaisons. Totally forgot that.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, yeah, because he mentioned that in his video. I completely forgot.
Somebody said it is juicy, and somebody put it's very good, entertaining.
So this might be one of the ones that once I started, I'm just gonna keep going.
See, the thing is, you remember how when we did what was that? That was 3 years ago when it was Bedrock
Faith. I finished that sucker in a week.
In the beginning, I was like, damn, is this the right one? Oh shit, I picked the wrong book, you know. And then when I really started getting into it, I was like, oh my God, this book is so good.
Yeah, I finished that book in a week.
And it was just off the chain good. I mean, I don't know where this man is, but he needs to start writing again, like real quick. Excellent principle of a book.
He has not written anything since.
I know. I asked the publisher, said, what's he doing?
He's a teacher. He's a professor. He's a writing professor.
Because I mean, the concept of the story and in the way he went about it was just brilliant.
Perfect. Yep. It
Just,
was so good.
You didn't even know what was going to happen next. You didn't know what was happening next. It was just like, oh my God. And when stuff would happen, you'd be like, he did not do that.
And then it's like, where did you pull this out of? Like, what?
Yeah, he really pulled the top out on that one. It was really
it was so good.
It was good.
I need to give Stew Pot another chance because it didn't do it for me.
Did you finish Bam Rock Bay?
No.
Girl, you should.
You need to finish it. It's so good.
I was really not so sure in the beginning, but I think I hit page 60 and I was like, oh shit, this is good. This is really good.
Well, I can't wait to get started now that you guys have hyped it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
And I want to say this is the longest book that we've had for Read So Lit so far. And
yeah, it is.
Well,
no, there was also a Jubilee was pretty long too.
Oh yeah, Jubilee.
It was pretty long, and Jubilee was just like crazy in some points.
Yeah.
But Venetra says, when y'all start reading, I want you to count how many times your jaw drops in the first few pages.
I'm gonna take a shot every time, Venetra. I will not.
Can you live stream that? Can you live stream?
I'll keep a post-it in the book, and I'll just have it be like my jaw-dropping ticker.
Yeah,
that's a much more liver happy way to do that.
Oh, freeform lady in the house.
Yes.
How did you come across this book, Dee Dee? Like, what made you pick it for?
This book, I had picked this book up like months before. Months before I even thought about, I saw it on something. I want to say I saw it maybe on Amazon or something weird like that. It was proposed to me on there.
Something weird like Amazon.
Yeah, well, you know me, scrolling through Amazon as usual, trying to be good and not buy anything. They proposed me. They said, "Okay, you bought this. Maybe you would like this." And so I looked at it and I said, "Oh, I don't know this. What is this?" So I looked it up and I said, "Oh, okay, it's a retelling of Dangerous Liaison." I like that book. I read that book years ago in college, and I said that would be kind of cool with a African American twist. That would be a really good story, to read. So I'd forgotten about it, and then when I started looking for the read-along books, I had pulled like a couple. I said, okay, one of these could work really well, but one was I realized because we were chatting on Instagram, and one of them was Virgin Soul, and Virgin Soul is a coming of age, and everybody went, "Oh hell,
no!"
Nobody wanted to do coming of age. So I said, okay, you don't have to do coming of age like this. Then one of them was I want to say it was Loving Day by Matt Johnson.
Yeah.
Some people were interested in that one. And then another one was called The Integrationist, I think. And it's by what's that guy's name? It's by Jake Lamar. So it's about a Black guy who goes into politics, and it's racial and something else kind of mixed like that. Yeah. So, and then I said, God, I've got this book here, Unforgivable Love. It's just been sitting around for 6 months. Maybe, this could be the one. And then when people started looking at it, a lot of people were voting for Unforgivable. They're like, no, Unforgivable Love sounds interesting. So I thought, why not? You don't always have to read such intense books in February. You can see that Black authors write other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to always be about, so much intense stuff, We can also enjoy books that are, that have a love aspect to it or something else. So in the end, I said, okay, I read like the first, like maybe 5 pages, and I said, okay, we're going to go with this one. This one should be fine. So, yeah. it
And if you search Sophronia Scott on YouTube, I think it was on YouTube that I found it, or maybe it's on her Twitter page, where she has a video that's like following when she was going into detailing what she experienced when she was going through the production of the book, and how how that worked out for her. And sorry, somebody's talking about pizza.
Yeah, she's got a YouTube channel. She's really she's got a you should definitely check her YouTube channel out. It's pretty good. But and she's really happy that we chose this book. She said, "Oh my God, I'm thanks for featuring me, whatever, reading my book or whatever." So that's how it happened. But I hope everybody enjoys it and that we can get a good discussion out of it, because that's the main thing.
Yes.
Get people talking. Somebody said, "I'm a slow reader, but I'm surprised to see how far I've gotten within a week." But that's what Troy said. He said he was just sitting there, before you know it, he was on page 100.
That's great.
Snacking. He put all his snacks to the left.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Coffee to the left. And all it was just me in the book. And before I knew it, was on page 100 and something. So
I don't know if I need to start that tonight then, if for real or not, if I end up sleeping through church tomorrow. But staying up reading.
So I'm probably gonna start tomorrow, that one, just to get it if I can read 123 pages tomorrow, then cool for me. Let me just see. Oh, Keisha's there. Okay.
I have to add that into my planner so I can stay on track.
Somebody put, it's Michael. I love coming of age stories.
Mm-hmm. I know you do.
I don't mind if they're done well, but the problem is that there are just a lot of them.
Wait, so did you like Washington Black? Because I felt like Washington Black was a coming of age story.
Which one?
I haven't read it. I haven't read it. I have it.
I said Washington Black. I was saying I felt like that was a coming of age story.
It is and it isn't. Yeah, it kind of is, but there's so much else going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Notice it as much. It's not like a typical coming of age.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wasn't crazy about that book, surprisingly. I mean, I thought it was good, but
I liked it. I liked it because I know. I mean, I read her other book, Half-Blood Blues.
Oh, okay, I didn't read. Yeah,
and so I can see like she's really leaps and bounds. Okay, she does some leaps and bounds because Half-Blood Blues was really good, but it felt unfinished, and it felt too short. And it really left me like, what? At the end.
Are you going to read Cynthia Vaughn's next book if she writes one?
If she what?
If Cynthia Vaughn writes another book, you going to read
it? No, get out of here. It's her life. No. No, ain't nobody got time for that. Nope. Because if she does write one, it'll be the second part to the one she already wrote. And I'm not reading.
Okay, then no. Never mind.
Nah. Yeah. Anybody want it? If anybody wants it, I will gladly send it to your house and you can read it and enjoy it. I personally will never read it again.
So that's something that's interesting too, when someone said only 3 stars or 3 stars, and a reference that you a book you talked about earlier, Dee Dee, you were like, oh, it was really good. I gave it 3.5. So maybe if you ladies could share kind of your thought process on when you allocate stars to a book. It seems like what happens between 2 and 4 is really interesting on some people's channels and when they rate books. What is a 3-star book to you?
For me, a 3-star book
is a good book.
Yeah, I think it's a good book.
It's just good. It's not excellent. I might forget everything in another week or two. But while I was reading it, it was good. It's just good. Now, if it's 2 stars, it's okay, which means there's some issues. like either the character development is off, or the setting is off, or the writing is not that great, or there's something that is just wrong with it. So I say it's okay because maybe the idea is good, but it's not executed well or something like that. If it's 1 star, out the window, whoop, don't even bother.
Right. So to get something to like 1 star is almost like a DNF, where I don't think I even have a book that I rated with 1 star, because if I felt that way, I never finished it. So then I don't feel like I can give it the 1 star because I didn't finish it. I just didn't.
2019, it got a 1 star, and I finished it.
Which one?
What was it?
It's a book that I read in French. It's a book that a friend of mine dropped through my mailbox. God bless her. Thank you for the book, but no. Hard pass. Okay, hard pass. It's a book about a boxer. What's his name? Something John.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, boxer. Oh, this book was vulgar. It was wrong. It was all wrong. It's based off of fact, but it's written like fiction, and it's written as if the author is writing like the guy. That always turns me off in general. There's usually something that rings false about it. Thank God it was a short one, because if it wasn't, I would have DNF'd it, and I wouldn't even have made any star. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my scale, it's like 2 to me was I did not enjoy this book, but I persisted.
Yeah. Well,
nevertheless. But
she persisted.
Right. And for me, I feel like 3 is still like, this wasn't that great, but it was okay. And to me, a good book would be like a 4, and then a 5 is like, I want to scream from the mountaintops about this book.
But wait, Comfy Cozy Up says 3 means okay for me. Well, then what the heck is 2?
Yeah. It wasn't good.
But then what's 1?
I never finished the 1 star. That's what I said. I don't
finish the 1 star.
If you don't finish it, it's a DNF. You can't be rating it if you didn't finish it.
Right. I don't finish it, so I don't give out 1 star.
When I did, 3 stars was a good book. If I rated a book 4 stars, it was a good book, and I had an emotional attachment or connection to it. If it's a 5-star book, it hit all my bales.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, again, I feel the same. 3 is like, it's a good book. It was good. 4, it was like great. And 5, it was just like, there's hardly anything I would change about it. And also sometimes some books that I rate like 4s, other people may see it has a 3, and I can understand why they would see it that way, because maybe the writing wasn't the best. But sometimes for me, it's not even about the writing. It's about the story. And also my enjoyment. Like, did it make me happy? I understand that everything's kind of subjective in that sense. So sometimes if I say a book's a 4-star, people are like, wow, this must be really a great literary, genius. And it's like, probably it's not. It's just I really enjoyed it.
Right, you really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's I think that's all in rating. It's just that I always get a little confused when I'm watching someone. They're like, yeah, well, it was okay, and then they give it 4 stars, and you're like, what?
Or 3.5 stars, or 3 stars. And I'm like, but you said it was okay.
It's okay, and now you're giving it 4 stars.
Yeah, that's too high. I don't. Yeah, 4, no. 4, you gotta love it. Well, to me, 4 is like, I loved it. Like, it's just
it's a fairly good book. So I get really confused when I see that, because it's very confusing to me, and I don't understand the rating system. You know, if you're saying it's okay, how can you be giving it more than 3?
2 stars.
Yeah, in my opinion, 2 stars. For me, okay is 2 stars. 3 stars.
I can see some when it's like a good okay, where it's like a 3. That's where I'm like, the 2 range might be a little confusing. It might be a little hazy, because sometimes a book like it's good. It's good, but it may not be as strong of a good as another one. I don't know, but it's not as bad as a 2. I feel like 2 stars is pretty like, ugh.
That sounds like okay, because there's something wrong with it. You know,
you
read it, but there's something obviously not right with it.
A good example of, for me, a book that falls under that category, like you were saying, Jordan, is the graphic novel version of Kindred.
Oh, you gave it 2?
Oh,
I gave it 3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Because it stayed true to the story, but I gave it like as far as the art, because like the book is hella graphic.
Yeah.
When it comes to a lot of the abuse that Dana receives and has to deal with, and the emotional the way that it tackles her emotionally, and then having to come back to where, you know, the 70s where she's living and having to deal with that change, and then not having enough time to get over the first abuse before you go back for the next one. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that more could have been done with the wear and tear on Dana in the artwork than what was put forth. And so the artwork itself, just based on that, it was like a 2. But I appreciated that they took the artwork and they did not sway far from the story, and that they, in cutting it down to get it to be a graphic novel, they didn't cut some things that were important points.
Okay. I haven't read the graphic novel, only the original.
I refused to read the graphic novel. I like the book so much that I was like, I'm not ruining it reading that. Yeah. They're not going to do that justice, I can tell you. It's like, it looked way too thin. Compared.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, I wonder how that worked, and I was like, I don't know.
A lot of text, like the text bubbles. It's like so much that's put in on a page of text into the artwork, the panels. That's what they're called. Jesus, in the book, it's a lot of text put in those panels.
So it may almost have been like, not only intimidating graphically from the imagery, but also intimidating where it feels like the pages are crammed, where it's almost too much information on one page.
Yeah, but that's also, it sounds like what they did was, I don't know, is this an American, this was an American writer that did the adaptation into the graphic novel?
I think so. I don't know.
Because usually, like when the French do the novels, like do the graphic novels that are adapted from books, what they'll do is if they see that the book is it's very compact, there's a lot of stuff, they'll just turn it into a series, you know, and they'll say, okay, this is part 1, part 2, part 3, like that. And then that way it allows the graphic novel to live well in the, you know, you have the words, you have the images, it's, you know, well put together. And you just know that there's going to be 5, 6, sometimes in some cases 10 books. So I think that, you know, maybe they should have thought about maybe putting it into 3 parts or 2 parts.
That would have been smart.
That's a lot smarter. They would make more money, and then on top of it, people would enjoy actually reading it. But
or not, because I don't know if I would have gone for 2 more parts after reading part 1.
Yeah, but you read part 1 under the bad conditions of it had way too many words on the page.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Any effort to adapt that properly. If they would have adapted it properly, you would have probably enjoyed it even more reading it as 3 books instead of reading it as only 1, you know.
Because a lot of it is you visualize a lot of the pulling back.
That's what it is.
So good. Yeah. It could have been. Yeah. I was like when you had recommended that, that's what got me reading different graphic novels.
What's crazy is my favorite panel in that entire, now this is scary, but my favorite panel in that entire graphic novel is the first page. Because the first sentence of it, of the novel is, I lost my arm on my way back on my last trip home.
Yeah.
Arm. That is that entire graphic novel, that panel is my favorite page.
Okay. That's interesting.
Do you, when you rate books, do you take your personal opinion about characters into consideration when you rate books?
Ooh, that's hard.
I don't think that's fair.
It depends.
I'm just asking. I've watched reviews where someone may have said, oh, this person just was really you know, like they might say, oh, he was really a douche and I just didn't like this book and I gave it a this, and I'm like, maybe the author didn't want you to like that character.
It depends on how well I dislike the character. Like when I read Gone Girl, I did not like a single character in that novel.
Yeah.
However, I enjoyed that book. Yeah. When I read 40 Acres, I didn't like a lot of the characters in that novel, but I really liked the book.
Yeah, I like the book too, even though
it's you know, just because it depends on how the characters are written. If I think it's a character that's written poorly, then that's another story. But if a character is written to be someone that's like a douche, then that's what the author meant.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's fun when you don't like the one that I
read in the beginning of the year. It's because he wrote probably was, but it just annoyed me having to read it, and it just seemed like he was just everything was just coming out really vulgar and really arrogant. And then I went and looked up the guy online, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really like this, and I'm just thinking, you know, is he really doing this guy? Is this guy really this bad? Like, because these are old clips, you know, so you don't really hear him speaking or anything. But I had a problem with it because it's supposed to be based on fiction, so there's a little bit of him fantasizing over what this guy would actually be saying and doing, and it kind of got old for me. It just got old reading, you know, his, you know, impressions of women and, you know, what he's going to do to them. And it's like, I don't care. Yeah. You know? So it just got really icky and all that. You kind of wonder, you know, where's he coming up with this stuff from? Because it is fiction, you know, it's fictionalized idea of that guy's life. So, but I didn't give it 1 star because of not liking the main character. Because I think, you know, not finding a character unlikable, that's part of the process of reading a book. That sometimes, like, our perfect example, Halsey Street. Did anybody read that?
Yes.
I haven't read it because you read it.
Take the wheel. Take the wheel on that one. That chick in that book, she needed a beat down because she was getting on my nerves. I was just like, and she was almost like predictable. Like I knew what she was gonna do next.
Yeah.
You could just feel it, you know, the beat down. But the writing is beautiful.
See,
beautiful writing.
That happens, and that's why I say, like, it's not really so much liking the character, it's more so like somehow it evoked the emotion. Because like even though I know you didn't really care for a single embarrassed scene with the thing, but the mother, I didn't like the mother. That mother, it hurt me, but I enjoyed the book, and I was like, man, like I wanted to, like, I was just so frustrated and so mad, but at the same time, it was a good story in helping me kind of get in the mind of a mother who would be a little bit absent-minded for whatever the reasons are, not justifying it. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Halsey Street, it just, there was things about the book. The book was blurbed incorrectly. It's supposed to be about gentrification of a neighborhood, and it's not about that at all. Right. It just isn't. It's not about gentrification. And then there was the way she goes about telling the story through this main character. Okay, yeah, she was very unlikable. She's rude. She's like a little bit lazy. She has a lot of faults. But even so, with these faults, I was thinking, she's going to do something with this character. You know, she could really do something with her. But I felt like she dropped the ball on the character. Yeah. It was clear she had all of those faults, but she didn't use the character like I thought she would use her to make the story really interesting. And then it wound up just being angry when it was over. You just wanted to just strangle this main character, and you're just like, oh, that was like 10 hours of my life I can't get back.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so then what star rating did you give the book?
I think I gave it 3 though.
What did I give it?
Let me look that up. Because the writing is freaking beautiful. But that is the only thing that's beautiful.
I gave it a 3.
The writing's not the issue. Did you give it 3 too, B?
I did.
I gave it 3 mostly because of the writing. But if she would have really turned that character and done something with that character more than what she actually really did with her, I probably would have given it 4.
Yeah.
But it was just, and this, I just don't understand why they blurbed it the way they blurbed it, like this idea that it's a book about gentrification.
Right.
Like it's supposed to be Brooklyn.
For me, there wasn't a lot of connection with her. Because like I'll love a book where if you can make me hate a character and loathe them, but still want to like keep going, I'm all for it. Yeah. It was just kind of boring to me.
I love
no connection.
I don't know if it's just me or what. I just love a good villain, somebody that's just downright so good. And
a good villain.
I was surprised how many people, when I was telling people that I had read The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, how many people were in my comments like, so the review. So like trying to get my thoughts together to do that one, but I just I mean I think it's learned in every book. It's like little nuggets in each of them that
so I think Halsey Street did a lot of crashing and burning though, if I remember correctly. A lot of people had, I don't think anybody gave it 4 stars. At least I didn't see anybody give it 4 stars. I think a lot of people gave it like 3 or 2. Mostly just because I think of what the main character's annoying. Just annoying. That
Peter, did you gave Halsey Street a 4? Comfy Cozy Up just commented.
What? Girl, wow.
Crazy. She gave it a 4.
Oh, wow.
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same book, or is she talking about Sing Unburied Sing?
About the same one. She read it. I know she read it, but I didn't realize she gave it 4 stars.
I don't know if she's talking about Halsey Street or Sing Unburied Sing. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, ask her because you see, Halsey Street has 3.55 on
she gave Halsey Street 4 stars.
Girl, you're the only one.
She liked the crazy.
What happened? Girl, I was not
crazy appealed to her.
Oh man, it doesn't even have 4 stars, but they're comfortable with 4 stars in here. But see, people put 4 stars and then in their comment 3.5.
Yeah, because sometimes you do that. You don't want to give them a 3.
Yeah.
And see, I don't like the middle ground. I don't like that middle ground. It's one or the other, doggone it.
So you don't have
sometimes it's like that. It's got a little something, but no, I didn't get that. I definitely put a 3. I could have put 3 going more towards a 2.5.
Okay. For real.
but surely not a 4. It's just the writing was beautiful, but girl, the storyline, it was all over the place. She was doing too much, too much. That's the reason why it falls down, is because instead of her like really using that character, there was things about the character that they didn't even use. The fact that she was an artist. Where was the art? Nowhere.
Right.
Nowhere. Doing any art, and you're like, why is this chick not drawing if they make a big deal about her being an artist? Where is the art?
She was sensitive about her shit.
I'm not sensitive about anything. Let me tell you, that is not a sensitive character.
For real. She was a snatch.
She was a hard ass. She was cold and she was sympathetic to no one, and she had a drinking problem. So
damn, she was a mean lush.
Girl, she was. I'm not even telling you the worst. There was stuff she was doing. I was just like, girl, really? It was just too much. It was just, I just wanted, there was a moment where I just said, let's just get this over with, Nail this bitch, get it over with, because I don't think another, couple hours of reading this book. It was tough to read, so that's disappointing because she has all of the skills. She's a beautiful writer, but she clearly has difficulty putting that story, putting her storyline together and getting sidetracked by other stuff. That whole thing where she went and lived with that family in their house.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, girl.
And wasn't this a debut novel?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because I was supposed to talk about it for Read So Lit last year and just didn't want to bash it. And so I just like, no, for real. For real.
Damn.
Because I need to bash every now and then, but
yeah, I try to choose my bashings wisely. Like sometimes if I just really didn't like a book,
wisely.
I'm serious. If I don't like it, I'm like, I'm just not gonna talk about it. I don't even need to spread that. But sometimes it's kind of important where you do want to talk. Like there is a thin line. I try to choose it. Sometimes you may not hear about it.
I think it's good, especially when everybody's saying they love it.
Yeah.
And you didn't like it.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not going to discourage people in that way. In that way, sometimes if it's like their debut, and if it's like they're probably a smaller writer, something like that.
Guess what? We bashed Ruby bad, okay? And that was the debut.
Okay, and I might like.
Yeah, she told Ruby a new hole.
Just an FYI, I'm gonna have to log off in a few minutes. We have a reservation in a little bit, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I have to go soon.
I'm gonna hang out for like 2 or 3 more minutes, though.
Well, this was enjoyable, ladies.
Yes, it was.
Again, and thanks for coming on. It's great. The comment section was popping.
It was.
Everybody,
all of the things.
It's really a lot of fun. So stay tuned for next Saturday. We're going to try to work on the technical difficulties.
Yes.
And so we're going to end it here because I think a lot of people, we're on about like 43 people are watching right now.
Yeah. So people have to go.
Yeah. So I'm going to say good night and good night for real.
Yeah, because it's like
2:30 in the morning here. Yes, it's 2:30.
It's dark. You can't tell here. It's dark.
It's already Sunday here. Okay. All righty. So bye bye.
Thank you so much for having me, Dee Dee, and for putting this together. Thank you.
Yes.
You guys stay on for a second. I'm just gonna turn off the chat. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Everybody.